And good morning. Welcome to the Dennis Herrera Show. I know that it's a very controversial per se, but either way, salud. I hope you guys have your morning coffee. I'm actually kind of excited to start this morning. I know that I want to do more, but I gotta keep up with my information and do my research, and I just don't have enough hours in the day. Mike, how are you, my man? My man. always with me, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate the love. Craig Mayer says, I don't know, man. I think you're going off the rails. That could be a good thing, depending on how you mean it. I'll take it. I would like to think that I am controversial. I would like to think that I do things different than other people. I like to think that the way that I think and the way that I assert my opinions are my own and not somebody else's. I love this country so much, and I'm going to show you guys just a couple of clips, not too much, but I want to show you something because there is a reality that we also need to understand. We don't want to look like we're just right all the time. We're humans and we can make mistakes. I can tell you this: a lot of Democrats are now supporting the Republican Party because the Democratic Party that we have has left us. And we've heard that before. Why do we say that the party has left us and we didn't leave it? Because the way that the Democrat Party today thinks, it is completely different than the Democratic Party from 2 decades ago. It's completely different. And I remember this is when I feel America was great. When I used to have a Democratic Party and a Republican Party, and I got to see that there was competition back and forth. Who can take better care of the country? And I want to go back to that. I want to be able to see that competition. Instead, what we hear is, oh, we should create a new party. I don't blame them. I know we have an independent party, but let's be honest, that's not a real party. That's just independence means just individuals that can agree on what to support. Okay, that's what independent means. Now, I can be independent, but at the same time, I know I got to make a choice. I got to make a decision, and you know what? I don't understand how gullible some people are, but I would like to think that most people have common sense. If you are my age or older, I expect you to know better. I expect you to be better educated than this generation. I'm gonna tell you something. Back in the 80s, in the mid 80s, I remember my cousin. He brought his 2 kids with him. They used to live here in the United States of America. Now, funny thing is, I was a monkey. I love climbing my trees. Now, I only got one member on here right now. You have seen the property where I lived in Honduras. Unfortunately, you didn't get to see the trees that we had in that yard. And it was just amazing. I thought that it was beautiful. And I never envied my cousins for being in the United States of America. Did I like a nice pair of shoes? Sure, of course. Did I want to leave my country? Hell no. I was happy in my country despite the suffering, because you know what I've learned in life? The suffering in my life had nothing to do with nature. The suffering was my own family. Suffering was, just different things than what other people consider suffering. I'm trying not to go too personal on that one. But, I was happy. I was happy living with my trees and all these other stuff. Robert, good morning. Salud, my friend. Good to see you, brother. Janice, welcome to the chat. I see you. Let me see. Maria Gasca put a comment on here. You deleted it, my man? What's going on? You're a sick individual for supporting. What the hell, man? How about good morning? How you doing? What's going on today? What's popping? What's cooking in the kitchen? What's going on? What's up? Why don't you start with that? You got, come on, man. You got to start off on the right foot. Did you get out of bed on the wrong side? You got out of bed on the wrong foot. Oh, man. So anyway, I was very happy. Being in Honduras. But here's the thing. My cousin brought his two kids. Now, his two kids, they're older than me, okay? Now, his son was, I believe, was in 5th grade. I was in 3rd grade. And I remember that he put some math problems. Now, my cousin already knows that the schooling in Honduras was a lot harder. This is back then. I don't know today because I'm not going to school today. But it was a lot harder back then. And so he gave us the same math problems. Now, my cousin's son, all right, my second cousin, he was in 5th grade. I was in 3rd grade. And so he wrote the same problems. And then I did mine. I had to, no calculator. I was taught to do no calculator. So boom, 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 doing my work and I finished. And I gave it to my cousin. I said, here you go. And then he's looking at, and I actually felt really bad. But my cousin was right. He had to discipline his kid because he was lazy. And he said, what happened? Why are you not done with yours? He says, I don't understand, Dad. I don't understand this problem. He's like, you're in 5th grade. Your cousin here is in 3rd grade. How does he know more than you? You're 2 years ahead of him. Anyways, long story short, I felt bad for my little cousin because, maybe there's a learning problem. Maybe there's some type of mental disability in there that we don't know about. In those days, of course, I didn't think about it. But now that I come back to that memory, it makes sense. Because what I have told you guys here, when I came to this country in 7th grade for us in Honduras is college. It's college. Here in the United States of America, your kid cannot read, cannot write, and they keep going to 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th grade, go to 7th grade, go to 8th grade, 9th grade. They get put in special classes, go to 10th, go to 11th, and then when they get to 12th grade, they just pass them. They give them some easy homework, easy classes, so that they can get the credits enough to graduate. In Honduras, if you did not know your homework, if you didn't do, and if you didn't learn what you're supposed to know by the time you finish 1st grade, guess what happens? Can anybody on the chat tell me? Can you guess what happened? If you didn't get to the level of what a 1st grader is supposed to be at the end of the 1st grade, can somebody take a wild guess? I'll give you a few seconds in here. There's a small delay. I get it. In the meantime, let me see. Manuka Honey Sosa Ribeiro. Good morning, Samuel. How are you, Starboy? Good to see you in here. Right on 7. Welcome back. Good morning, Amber Grace. Boring story, says Amber. I'm sorry, Amber. Sorry to disappoint. You can find a different channel, but thanks for stopping by. Durka says MAGA for life. Gordon Walker, does Trump pardon you? Number one, if you got to be convicted in order to be pardoned. But you Democrats don't know what that means. I'm going to assume that you're a Democrat because you hate Trump. But I'm going to say this. Actually, you're not a Democrat. You're a libtard. I'm going to say this. President Biden, well, it's not even President Biden. Let's be honest. The digital pen. Whoever manipulated the digital pen pardon people for future crimes. Oh, man. Tell me about that one. Why don't you go ahead and answer that question? Why would you pardon future crimes and then come back and try to judge us for the way that we pardon people that we feel, you know what? Yeah, they made a mistake, but they shouldn't be punished as harsh as they were. And so here's a pardon. Okay? All right, let's see what else we got. Release the Trump stain files. Oh, you know what? I love it. I love it when the people keep saying release the files. I hate it and I love it because I love the fact that people say release the Trump stain files. And the elder leftist channels, I went through all these podcast leftist libtards. And they all think they know the answers to everything. I get it. You can say the same things about me, but when I give you an answer about something, I actually know the answer that I'm giving you. I'm gonna give you an example. These libtards, they have a bunch of things on their live feeds for their podcast. Do you still support Trump? I don't. Debate me. Who gives a shit if you don't like Trump? Do you like the policies? Let's talk policies. What policies do you agree on? Because I don't care if it's Trump. I don't care if it's JD. I don't care if it's Rubio. I don't care if it's Tulsi. I don't care who the president is. What are the policies that they support? Now, they're not perfect. Will they be able to, be successful in everything? Maybe, maybe not. But the policies is what I'm looking at. And for any libtard to come in here, or, I almost called one. Because they put their phone numbers out there, right? I almost called one. But go ahead, libtards. If you're in here, Team Hype, you're a libtard. Go ahead and tell me, Julianne, you are misinformed. You are wrong. He's not a kingpin, and I know you're talking about my president of Honduras, Juan Orlando Hernandez. You better shut the hell up if you don't know what you're talking about, because that was a coup, that was a setup, and the United States of America, yes, the Biden administration are guilty of this setup and the corruption and the fraud and the abuse that is going on, not just in this country, but throughout the world. So shut the hell up and don't talk about my presidents like that. So anyway... Go ahead, libtards. I want you to go ahead and give me what policies that Biden's administration had or what the fake Democrat Party has today that you support. Go on. Give me a policy that you support and the reason why you voted for President Donald J. Trump. And don't give me this bullshit of, oh, well, President Trump is worse. I just voted for the least worst. Shut the hell up and be accountable for your decisions. Stop being an emotional libtard Karen and Juanito. Make some rational decisions. Make your choice with conviction, so that way, if they mess up, dang it, I voted for that. But if they're successful, that's right, I made that decision, and I made that president happen. Go on. I want to hear some policies from the libtards. I'm going to tell you something. I love doing my show. You know why? Because it's like my brain in ADD in high definition. Welcome to the Dennis Herrera Show. Let's see. Hey, Jive, how are you? Sorry, guys, I'm missing all these hellos in here. Welcome to everybody that supports my channel. Everybody else, you're more than welcome to stay. But if you have nothing good to say or add or give us good information, facts, get the hell out of my channel, will you? I do appreciate you guys being in here because subscribers are the only ones that can comment. That tells me that some of these libtards are my subscribers, and in some way or another, I like that. So there's a reason. There is a reason. All right. Let me see. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Who is a libtard in this chat? Let's get on with it. Let's see. Hernandez. Here we go. Hernan Macias. Hernan Macias. Bro, you sound like my drunk uncle speaking English to me. Yeah, well, you know what? Sometimes I wish I was drunk so I wouldn't have to listen to you libtards. But I'd rather stay sober and with not hangovers. So say no to drugs, smokes, or drinks. And if you do, do it responsibly. I'm going to say I don't always drink, but when I do drink, I don't drink Dos Equis. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. But go ahead, guys. I'm being honest here. Let's go ahead. Give me some policies that the Democrats support right now. And yeah, you give me a policy that you support on the left side, and then I'll give you a policy that I support on the right side. All right? Is that fair? Let's get it done. All right, let's get it. Oh, excuse me. Samuel, say hello to my whole Britannia MAGA. You know what? While these Democrats or anybody that supports the leftist policies grab the courage to put what policies they support, I'm going to say something, and this is something that Rubio said. Well, kind of, and I agree, and I agree. You know, he made this speech, and he reminded the world that the reason why we speak English in this country is because of English, because of Britain. Now, yeah, they effed up in America. We kicked them out. We got sick and tired of them. But at the end of the day, we still inherit something from them. And so if they think they're better than us, I don't give a, you know what I mean? I don't care. But, you know, we think we're better than them anyway. So, it goes both ways. I'm going to say this. I am grateful that we speak English in this country, just as I am grateful of speaking Spanish in Latin America. You know, there was atrocities committed in Central America by Spaniards. A lot of people blame Christopher Columbus, which was not in charge. You know, Hernan Cortez was one of them. He was in charge. The military was in charge. Christopher Columbus didn't work for Spaniards. You know, he got a chance to come and, discover a new world. Discover for Spaniards. We were not discovered. We were already here. That's fine. But for them, it was a discovery. We didn't go across the sea to find out what Spaniards were doing on the other side of the ocean. So anywho, we have sort of the same history here in the whole Americas, practically. You know, Mexico was big all the way from half of the United States of America all the way down to Panama. That was, that's what it was in that time. But, they brought all this food. They brought things that we were farming. See, we were not able to farm some things. But when the Spaniards came, they brought some things that we can farm, and they taught us to farm. You have to understand something as advanced as the Mayan civilization was back then. The Spaniards are the ones that came and taught us more stuff for survival. But you know what? We were too damn evil. We thought sacrificing our children to a god will give us better crops. Turns out you just needed to have an irrigation system. Anyway, all right. Enough with the story of the Mayans and how we suffer, blah, blah, blah. I was not born there, so I didn't get to suffer that, but the people did. And you know what? By the end of the day, we speak Spanish. I am privileged. I am very honored to speak fluent Spanish and fluent English. Whether I have a Spanish accent, whether I have an English accent, I don't care. It don't matter to me. It don't matter to me at all. The fact is that I speak enough for people to understand on both sides. What language do you speak? Huh? I mean, I can have a semi conversation in Samoan. I can have a semi conversation in French. And I can have a full conversation in English and Spanish. And I'm okay with that. What do you know? All right, let's see. I'm going to go down the comments here and let's see how many of these people that come in here. Alberto, how are you, brother? Good to see you in here. Hey, listen. Okay. Hey, Team Hype. Team Hype is always against me. Here we go. Let me look for Team Hype. Let's see. Julian, here we go. It's illegal to forbid employees from speaking their first language to each other if they let people... What? Allowed to chit chat in English. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. If you're in this country, speak English. Samuel, even you have an accent. You don't speak perfect English. Even you guys are mutts. Even you guys got different accents. I know that an English person from the east side of England is not going to talk the same as the west side England. Just like Spaniards. If Spaniards are from a certain part of Spain, their accent is horrible. I can barely understand them. But for the most people, yes, I can understand all Spaniards. There's not such thing as everybody speaks a perfect language anymore, but I still love you, brother. I love my English people, man. You know what? I've never ever been like, I want to go visit Europe. I've never want to go, I'm going to visit Spain. There is nothing in Europe that attracts me to say, I want to spend some money and go to Europe and visit these countries. Like, listen, I don't mean to offend you, but I want you to know something. To me, when I look at Italy, France, Spain, and all these other countries over there on that side of the world, of the hemisphere, they're third world shit countries to me. Third world shithole countries to me. Don't get offended. I'm just giving you an example because a lot of people, they think that third world countries like Honduras are a shithole. And I find that, you know what? I love Honduras. Is it poor? Yes. Is there violence there? Yes. They got to fix that, but is it a shithole? Even if it is, it's my shithole and I have to love it. And the beauty is in the eye of the beholder. When I look at the mountains, they're just amazing to me. When the rivers are thriving with beautiful water, they're amazing. When the flowers come out in the spring and the fruits are giving out, and right now, mangoes are starting to flourish. And you got all these fruits. Some fruits are year round, and you go through all these things, and you forget about humans, and you go through all these things, and the country is just amazing. It's just amazing. If I look at Rodolfo, how are you, bro? I see you, man. I can't see everybody, man. I don't want to be. I can't read all this stuff. Okay. Let's see, Brian. There you go, brother. They got some good food. Listen, I am sure. Excuse me. I am sure that a lot of countries. Hold on, this thing is kind of. It felt loose. Sorry, I gotta fix my suspenders here. Yeah, that's right. For Cray Miss, just so you know, I would not be using suspenders to keep my underwear up. Just in case you were wondering if I had pants on. You know what? I was thinking about actually doing a live at the beach in Mukilteo. Now, let me see. It looks like it might not rain, but when the wind blows, oh my God, it's cold, and I hate the cold. All right, let me read some comments in here. I know, guys, I want to tell you stories, but I also want to kind of pay attention to you guys a little bit. All right. Honduras has great food. Rodolfo pupusa. So a Salvadorian actually told me that pupusas are not Salvadorian. They say pupusas were invented in Honduras. I don't know about that. We got baleadas, is what we are proud of. And we do make pupusas, but we always thought that pupusas, at least me, I always thought that pupusas were a Salvadorian thing. So there's that. Let me see. What else we got in here? Joe Dirt. I like the name Joe Dirt. I like that movie, man. I like that movie. You know what? And he had a mullet like me. When my wife doesn't do my hair, it's just crazy. It's just a ponytail, but I love it when she does it because then I get my beautiful braid in the back. Let's see what else we got in here, guys. Dana, how are you? Good morning. Let's see what else we got. I sense a lot of great patriots in here. Love to you all. Says right on 7. I still want to hear a policy. Now, Julianne, you sound more racist than you are concerned about people's freedoms. That's just the way that I see it. Get back to the policies, man. I've listed numerous policies. All right, let's take a look. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and look at the activity from Team Hype, even though this mofo never puts a super chat on here. All right, let's take a look at all his comments here. Here we go. Well, you got like about 20 messages blocked. So I don't know what the hell you are talking about. But let's go ahead and find the first one. Let's see. Get back to the policy. Okay, here we go. First, here's one message deleted from you. He loves to be conquered and swallowed up. That's not a policy. The Spanish are teaching the natives how to farm. Are you slow? That's not a policy. You're not teaching anything. You're just running off your mouth. That's not a policy. I don't hate you. You hate yourself. That's not a policy. Automation and AI, that's what's killing the job market. That's not a policy. All right, you lost your chance. I gave you enough chances. Sorry, guys. I got this little thing on my throat today. Must get more coffee. Robert's policy says, live the libtards in Mexico. Hey, don't get ahead of me, bro. This is my show. Don't get ahead of the news, man. All right, here we go. Let's see. Man, I forgot to put my powder on my face. It's too shiny now. We'll take a commercial break. All right, here we go. Let me give you one policy that I like from President Donald Trump. You ready? Republicans, conservatives, this is our policy. No men in women's locker rooms. All right, you guys go now. You give me one policy that you're for. Tell me why you vote Democrat. Come on now. Come on, give it to me. This is your moment to shine. Give us your beautiful input. I don't know where I was going with that. Tariffs affects the buyer, not the exporter. Oh, that's not a policy. Okay. Well. What is it? All right, here. First of all, let's go take a look at the rules. What is a policy? Oh man. Okay, let's see. What's a policy? Let's go. Let's first get educated. Here we go. A course or principle of action adopted or proposed by a government, party, business, or individual. Let me see. A course or principle of action. Yeah, that's a damn policy. This guy, Team Hype, man, you lost. Nah, you don't get no responses from me. Unless you put a super chat, you don't get jack squat from me no more. That is a policy, my friend. Immigration policy, wonderful. Deport. Ice, baby. There you go. Okay, that's a good policy, but that's more That's more of what do they call it? That's more of enforcing the law. Okay, that is a law, immigration law. You have to deport. That is a law, not a policy. But you can make it a policy to say we're going to enforce it. I mean, I don't know, man. Samuel, this is your language, bro. I'm just trying to interpret it as best as I can. All right, what's another policy? Anybody else on the left? Tell me one policy. Team Hype doesn't know, man. This guy's gone. Let's see. Okay, what's another policy on the left side? Go on now. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I vote none of the above. Brewster's Millions. You know what? Let's go ahead and share a clip. This is a lady from Honduras. Okay, I want you to understand this. She's self-deported to Honduras. Now, it's a sad story, but I want you to know where the problem lies, and it's not with the United States. It's not Trump. It's not Trump. I watched a video, and it's this right here. This lady self-deported to Honduras. Now, she came to this country illegally. She was in the United States of America for about 25-something years, she said. And she's self-deported. Now, the whole time that she was here, she worked and, she sent money to take care of her grandbabies, etc., her daughter. And she got really sick. So you see that walker over there towards the end, right? Like right here. You see that walker, everybody? Okay, so she uses that because she says that she doesn't have fluid in her kneecaps, right? In her knees. So it hurts for her to walk too much. And so sometimes she uses it to rest. Now, Medicaid gave her that seat for free. Okay, the United States gave her medical assistance while she was here. And she's diabetic, and, she has other complications. Now, here's the problem. So, number one, she's illegal, so she shouldn't get care over here, okay? Diabetes is something that you can control, right? So, et cetera. A lot of problems. But she sent all this money to help her family, blah, blah, blah. The sad part of this is that she moved to Honduras. She's self-deported, so she got her free plane ticket. She said that she was allowed to sell all the stuff that she had. Towards the end, she was living in her car. She didn't have a place to stay, so she was homeless, and she sold her car for $300. And she got a plane ticket and a couple $1,000s, right, when she got to Honduras. And so she comes to this house, right, that you can see that is not built all the way. And the whole inside of this house was filled with garbage that the neighbors would put garbage in there because they thought nobody's coming back for this property. And then her daughter will come in and clean it up. Now, I'm just relaying what she said. And her daughter will come in and clean it up, and the neighbors will get mad at her because she was cleaning out the garbage. And so she finally comes home, and she starts crying. It's making me cry when she's talking because she says that the same granddaughters or grandkids that she worked to support from the United States of America are now her enemies, and they don't like her. How ungrateful little brats. And the daughter, it doesn't show here if obviously the daughter has a house. There's no way that she lives in this house with no roof, right? There's no way. But, to make the story very sad, the fact is that this house right here, this property, this is hers. And, the whole idea was that she was going to go over there, and then build this house and, fix it up so that she can retire in it. It's a very, it's a good plan, I guess, in a way, right? Besides the part of being illegal. And so what makes me break with her, right? That what makes me my heart break for her is that she says that when she was here in the United States of America, her plan was to build a house for herself and a place to retire and save some money. But she said, but she says I was not thinking about myself, like that was the plan. But when I was down there, I was up there, I didn't do that, and I sent all my money to help them. And now that I'm here, they're backstabbed me, they betrayed me. She says, and that breaks my heart. But that has nothing to do with Trump. That is her family. She came here. She helped her family. She bought the property. You can see that the house was starting to be, made. And the fact that she sends all this money over there, and then she goes home and the family that she was supporting betrays her, breaks my heart. It really does break my heart. And I think that that's the sadness of people that come to this country. A lot of people that don't get visas to come to this country is because they don't have a means to sustain themselves. The country wants people that can port something good to it. Not to come over here, as I mentioned last night. Not to come over here and mooch of the government. That's not why we come to this country. All right? Samuel says that Carnage has a question. It's Sam. Okay, he says, just one question. Why do Americans use schools for target practice instead of education? I wouldn't say that's a fair question, but the question would be, why are transgenders doing that? The question would be, why are evil people doing that? It's not just in America. I would be surprised if that's all you hear on the news channel, just bad news from American schools. Yeah, I don't know, man. That's just evil people. That's just evil people. But since you're mentioning schools, I think that every single teacher that is teaching the children, that anybody that's minor, I don't care about adults, any minors, any teacher that's teaching them to go in and protest and get out of school to go protest, those teachers should lose their jobs. They should be fired. And if they can't get fired, they should just quit. You are not a teacher to tell children to go protest. Your job as a teacher is to teach them the necessity of school that we need for them to have skills in the world. I don't know. I probably didn't even say that right. I'm thinking in Spanish the whole time. The whole purpose for my children to go to school is to learn how to write, read, and mathematics. I want some history. That's all I want them to do. Just read, write. That's what I want. I want you to understand how to read and how to write, how to communicate, how to do math so that you can work in society and then become a great American citizen. That's all I want. I don't need my kids to go to college for any type of art bullcrap and get in debt for nothing. I have no pressure on my children. I just said, hey, I just need you to learn how to read, how to write, and do math. That's it. I don't care about anything else. I really don't. Apparently, I know more than doctors, scientists, and biologists. Somebody commented on one of my shorts because I said there's only two genders. And they said, well, you can misgender a baby. Doctors have done this. And I'm thinking, how the hell did that happen? How did a doctor misgender someone? Maybe when they're doing an ultrasound, maybe, it's catchy, it's tricky, I get it. But once the baby is born, there's no way to it. There's no way. Listen, I don't want to get too much into detail on this, but I can tell you, I've had boys and girls. And I've seen the boys and girls when they come out, and I'm going to tell you something. There is a reason why people use flower to identify the females. It's, you know what? There's no way to mistake it. Okay? There's no way. Even if you have a micro, thing in there, You can still tell, doggone it. And if you're a doctor, what a damn shame. What a damn shame. So I can tell you something. Doctorates is not a profession. It is a practice. You know why it's a practice? Because they don't know how to fix you. They practice on us. We're the guinea pigs. We're the guinea pigs. I get a cold. Oh my God, my throat hurts. I wonder what that is. Well, all of a sudden, now I can't swallow. Life tells me that the last time that happened to me, I had a virus. Strep throat. I can't swallow. It's hard. Come on. You got a cold. You got a fever. You know why you have a fever. That fever is supposed to help you kill that virus. That fever is supposed to help you burn and destroy everything that's supposed to live in your body. It hurts like a mouthful. Your body aches. Yes, it's really bad. You know what the doctor says? Every single time after 50 years of life, well, almost 50 years of life, and I'm going to deduct maybe 5-6 years of that for some ignorance. But after all of my life as an adult, I can tell you that every single time, whether it was COVID, whether it was the swine flu, whether it was the bird flu, whether it was my FU flu, it doesn't matter what flu it was. You know what they always told me? Drink lots of liquids. Take your vitamin C. That's it. Done. Same remedy every single time, and the bill is always the same, if not higher. Why the hell do we go to the doctors when we know something that it happens every year almost? We don't get enough sleep. Hey, you guys know I don't get enough sleep. I get it, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't need a doctor to tell me that I have a fever. Shit, dude, I'm burning. I want to know how much is this fever. Okay. Oh shoot, 104. Well, better get some liquids. Better get some liquids in there. Let me get some Pedialyte. Let's get some Pedialyte. Take some emergency. Let's get some of those vitamins in there. 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C. You guys have given me ideas of what to do. What has worked for you? You see what I'm saying? What has worked for you when you're sick? The same thing that works for you might not work for me, and I have my ways of dealing about things. Like, some people don't know the difference between a headache and a migraine. I get migraines. It is destructive. Most people can't even look at the light, and the light bothers me. But, I've done this show with a migraine before. It was torture, but I have to do it. This is just by choice, okay? Let's see. How do you fix a very bad gun issue in your country? More guns. Well, so I am a big Second Amendment right guy, okay? And I really dislike the fact that a lot of libtards misunderstand what the Second Amendment is for. The Second Amendment is not for you to go and shoot innocent people, number one. Those of those people that have celebrated the death of Charlie Kirk, I hope that they get a chance to repent, because otherwise they're going to a very special place in hell. But I do hope that they get to repent and ask for forgiveness for themselves, not for the people, for themselves. And, I agree with gun laws. It's okay. You know what? A matter of fact, here, I went to Honduras, and I guess I have dual citizenship. I didn't know. But the difference is that I love this country, and I will never fight against this country. Would I fight against evil? Sure, but not against our country. I will never fight against Honduras, but would I fight, against evil in Honduras? Of course, 100%. 100%. I was raised to love the land that provides for me and my children. Okay? Joseph, I'm going to tell you something. Kirk, you are not even close to his fungus in between his toenails. That's how good Kirk was. And I'm going to tell you right now, Joseph, I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus Christ. And you better repent from your evil ways. I can tell you that right now. There is no better way than to go to heaven. Think about this. Such a beautiful thing. I'm going to go ahead and remove your comment and put you in timeout for 10 minutes. Think about what you did wrong. But let me tell you something. Charlie Kirk's death actually hurt me. And I don't know the guy personally, but he hurts me. But you know what? He preached the gospel of Jesus Christ, the message of salvation. What a way to go. What a way to go. Like at that moment, he's asked for forgiveness. Forgiveness and the gift of Jesus Christ to save our souls. And then bam, gone. Right there. Beautiful, real Christian. Real Christian. Peter. The apostles. Some died crucified. Peter chose to be crucified upside down. The worst one was the one cut in half while he was alive. Horrible. Decapitated. All kinds of horrible deaths. And every single time the demons jump with joy and celebrate the death of a human being. Thank you for bringing up that about Charlie Kirk. I appreciate it. I'm going to tell you, I hope you get a chance to repent, my friend. I hope you get a chance to repent. Let's see. More hand grenades. Samuel, that's too much, my friend. It's too messy. It's too messy. Robert, that's, you know what? I don't get these libtards, man. I don't know what to say to teach them anything of value. I really don't. I really don't know what to say to teach them something of value. Oh, man. Here, I'm going to show you something else. Okay? Only because we're touching a little bit about, hey, love, how are you? Checking up on your husband, I see. Okay. That's right. I'm here working. Matter of fact, I need a refill on my coffee. Gotta keep it hot. Burning 47. God bless you, brother. Welcome to the Dennis Herrera Show. Hold on, man. I don't take no breaks over here. Let me at least get my coffee. And yes, I take a couple of Splendas. There you go, Tanya. You get to say hello to your sister right there. I know you're always telling me to say hello to my wife and the family. Well, there, you got her live. You got her live. Oh man, sorry. Hey, listen. I give Splenda a chance. I don't know if this is gonna make me diabetic or what, but I'm trying not to eat too much sugar. That's the ticket. All right, so I want to touch up because we're talking about a little bit on the immigration, right? And we're getting somewhere with this. We're heading somewhere. So I gave you the Honduras lady that self-deported, which means, and I guys, oh man, I should have gave you guys the link. For anybody, for any American in here that wants to help migrants, listen, this lady self-deported, and the family in Honduras double-crossed her, betrayed her. I feel that because she's self-deported, she should be given a second chance to come back here. And the problem is there's no place for her to be. So I know that a lot of libtards like to defend illegal immigrants, I would like to see you guys sponsoring people, sponsoring migrants to come and stay in your house, and get them papers, sponsor them, and say, yeah, they self-deported, get them a green card, let them be on the welfare system. She's a senior citizen. She's worked all her life. I think that the elder need to be taken care of. I really believe that. And so if you leftists like to support migrants, that would be a hell of a thing to do, is to start taking in some elder people and sponsor them, feed them, buy them clothes, just take care of them. Oh, that's right. A lot of you leftards like to put your parents in adult homes. That's right. What was I thinking? Hey, babe, you see this right here? What happened? What happened? You left with no braid on my hair. When my wife makes my braid, it looks pretty. I like it. I love it. All right. Let's see. What the hell? Lilo's here. Lilo says, I agree. Don't doing sports, going out, tidying up, maintaining a house, etc. Would much rather do that than have a Trump supporter in the house. Hey, eat fresh. Fantastic. Fantastic. You should get to it. Get to it. I respect that. I respect that. Let's see. We don't want the link to any of your propaganda. What the hell, Team Hype? How high are you on my chats? When you come in here, how often are you off your meds? Because I'm talking about helping an old lady. Like, seriously. She's self-deported. I wanted to get the link to that video so that you can actually reach out to the person that made the video. But since it's gone, I don't have it. Dana says, still got the Rock the star hair. Let's see. Absolutely. People with some morality are infinitely more valuable. Yeah, sure. I agree with that. And I agree with you not wanting to have Trump in your house. 100%. If I had him in my house, it would be a privilege for me and an honor because he is my president. I voted for him. If you don't like him, that's okay. But his policies are perfect. His policies are good. We need those policies to put America first. And I love that people like to say, oh, America first. How about $40 billion? $40 billion to Argentina. Okay. And what are you doing? Hey, God bless you, truth teller. Welcome. What are you doing to put America first? Besides betraying your countrymen. Besides betraying your countrymen and defending illegal criminal aliens. How are you putting America first? Remember, America first means the United States of America, not just the continent. This is not the continent that we're talking about. We're talking about our country. So how you doing? Huh? All right. I'm going to show this right here. It's in Spanish. This is the reason why I thank you, Baba. There's a reason why I'm not playing it. It's in Spanish, okay? But the picture here is there is foreigners, they say, especially Americans, who, and probably some people probably know the story already, but they are in Manzanillo, Colima, right? They have a beach over there, and these Americans or these foreigners have been, they have property, right in front of the beach, right? And so here's two sides of the story, guys. I always like to see two sides of the story. As a matter of fact, I commented on here. Let me see if I can find my comment. Maybe not. Man, I thought my comment was at the beginning, but I guess a lot of people have commented on this already. Yeah. All right. So here's the thing. So these foreigners, they bought property, beachfront property, okay? And the Mexican people, right? They want to go through the beach. They want to go through the beach. You know what? I'm gonna let the video play a little bit without audio, so you guys can see some of the frames, okay? While I'm talking. So they're putting obstacles on the beach so that the people, can walk through the beach. And so they have this rule in Mexico where the beaches are public property. If you own property in front of the beach, that doesn't give you access to the beach. Like, you can go and use the beach, but it's not private. It's not yours. And so these people, they're putting barricades and they're putting markers and saying, this is my private property. And so Mexicans are pissed off. A lot of Americans some of them are actually being deported because it's not their land, right? And so there's a problem. And I'm thinking, like, bro, you know what? Yeah, they shouldn't do that. See that they're clearing up all the barricades that they've been putting on, et cetera, supposedly, right? And so I'm thinking, okay, yeah, that's right. They shouldn't be doing that. Okay, now here, wait a minute. Let's get back to the story here and try to use a little bit of critical thinking here. And I say, why would they think? Welcome back, Joseph. Jeez. I don't know how peaceful it was without you here. But, let's think for a moment. Okay, so they buy property, okay, and they told that the beach is not theirs. The beach is public. Nobody can own the beach, right? So President Sheinbaum, she says that it's not cool that a hotel or a restaurant, beachfront property, will privatize the beach just for the use of the hotel or whatever, whatever. And so, okay, so that is a rule. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense, right? But here's the other side of it. Why would these people think that the beach was also theirs? Well, apparently some shady ass real estate and some mayors gave some fake papers or fraudulent papers to these Americans and then foreigners who had the money to buy the land and told them that the beach was theirs. So they were lied to. And so you have these foreigners fighting with the locals, telling them, hey, no, the beach is mine. I bought this property. The beach is mine. It's private. So I'm putting a fence around it, and I'm putting some markers to tell you this is my property, and you are not allowed to go through it, okay? And so, when it comes to that, Brian, how are you? Welcome, my brother. So when it comes to that, is like, there's misinformation here somewhere, right? So the president is giving the information to everybody, to the world, that, if you can buy property, beachfront property, but that doesn't make the beach yours. The beach will always be public. Now, here's another point that I'm trying to make. I'm not trying to defend anybody, okay? Neither the Mexicans or the foreigners. Okay, here's the thing. All right. So they bought the property, beachfront property. Okay, nice. You get the view. Beautiful. Now, it's a public beach. That means people can use it. It's not just the owners. But here's the catch. Like this is a Canadian woman throwing, not this girl, but there's a Canadian woman throwing rocks at a Mexican guy trying to fish. And she says, no fishing here. Okay? And so here's the problem with the public thing. They complain, the house owners are complaining that the Mexicans come in with their banda music playing out loud at all times of the day and night, and they bought the property to have peace away from the city. So they pay a lot of money for the property. And they litter. They make the beach dirty, and they have to go clean it. That's right. I agree. They don't own the water. They don't own the beach. I agree with everything. But what I'm saying is that you have to do some critical thinking. Don't just look at an issue and be like, oh, the video doesn't say anything about that the music or the garbage or the lying was the reason why the foreigners were complaining about the local Mexicans going through the beach. They make it sound like they're just evil sons of bitches. That's how I used to curse, bro. That's how I used to say, you son of a beach. But you know what? I that's how I am with everything, right? So I gather the story, and then I'm gonna go ahead and make my own opinion about what I see. So, they're both right. But here's the one thing that I will say. So the property owners, okay, you have your property, you deserve your quiet time, right? You deserve some respect. Now the beach is public, meaning that the government, if the government is going to make it public, the government should be in charge of cleaning up those beaches, right? And if the government doesn't, and the owners just take it upon themselves to go and clean the beaches, well, that's fantastic. Now, the public that comes and they know that those houses are there, they should be respectful and not be leaving garbage on the beach, and they should not be over loud with their music. We're not talking about a small radio. We're talking about loud freaking speakers. They think there are a disco making some loud music, which I love banda music. I love Mexican music. So it wouldn't bother me, but if it bothers the neighbors who has spent a lot of money to be there, even though it's public, common courtesy tells me that they should at least be mindful that, of the noise level. But as everywhere else, we have entitled people who think that they can do whatever the hell they want and there will be no consequences for it. They think that they have their freedom of speech and they have this right and this and that, but they really don't care about what happens to the neighbors. Now, I know we got a lot of Karens and a lot of Juanitos out there, but we have that everywhere. That's in every culture, every country, every ethnicity. All right. Let's go ahead and get into some of the news, okay? And we're going somewhere. This is the Faulkner zone here, or whatever focus, whatever she calls herself. Now, this is continuing on Mexico.
Cartel violence is rocking the nation of Mexico right now. This week, military forces there killed the country's most powerful drug lord known as El Mencho. Mexican officials say more than 70 people have died in the aftermath, including security officers, suspected cartel members, and civilians. No Americans have been injured or killed. We know that from the White House press secretary. The State Department says hundreds of Americans trapped inside Mexico have called the emergency helpline. Some are sharing their stories.
We're in lockdown. We can't leave the hotel. If you do leave, you have to sign a waiver. Anything you do beyond that point is on you, basically.
We were hungry yesterday. We had no food yesterday. Nothing. Nothing was open. It was a terrifying day yesterday. My daughter saw the cartel light a car on fire right in front of us. There was fire all around us. It was terrifying.
Jonathan Hunt with the latest. Jonathan.
Harris, with many Americans still stuck in Mexico, the advice from security experts for those planning to travel, including tens of thousands of college kids planning spring break there in Mexico, the advice very simple: don't do it.
It is extremely dangerous right now. It is a complete.
But we know that these idiots are going to do it anyway. It is what it is.
Way too volatile. So I advise anybody who's got children who may be going to Mexico for spring break, reconvene. Hey, take the loss because and the money. It is not worth it. It's not worth your child's life.
And many students are taking that advice, watching the violence unfold and changing their plans as a result.
All of our friends got these awesome deals to go to Puerto Vallarta, and I mean, obviously it's the worst right now, definitely the most sketch, and so they're all canceling it.
I have all my hometown friends from Boulder were booked a trip to Puerto Vallarta through Just College, and it just got canceled. And then we have friends who were supposed to go to PV with their boyfriends, and it all got canceled. And so now everyone's kind of scrambling what to do last minute and trying to get a refund.
Travel advisors say anyone thinking of canceling plans should act as quickly as possible.
Spring break packages are...
By the way, guys, spring break. Mexico is out of the question. Go to Honduras. Check out Roatan. Go ahead and check out Roatan Bay Islands of Honduras. It would be a lot better than Mexico's Puerto Vallarta cartel infested place. Just saying.
Sold differently than most travel. I always advise people to have travel insurance just in case stuff like this occurs. But if you don't have that, I suggest you call your company right now, or if you booked it independently, airlines, hotels, they should allow you some type of emergency cancellation.
And security experts warn Harris that even if it gets quieter in the next few days, the violence could explode at any time in the next few months, given that so many gangs might now be competing to try to fill the void left by the killing of El Mencho. Harris?
Jonathan Hunt, thank you very much. And a reminder, atop our Faulkner Focus page and my own Harris Faulkner on X and across all platforms are the help numbers for people that you love who may be in Mexico yet to come home.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno.
That's some crazy burritos going on in Mexico. And with that, we'll jump into what the hell is going on with Mexico. You know, we've talked about these cartels. You know, the cartels have even said things like, you know, the only reason why they supply things to Americans like drugs and kid trafficking, human trafficking, is because Americans want it. And that I find that I find it very interesting that the leftists want to blame Trump for everything. They keep calling him a pedophile. They keep bringing up these 34 felonies, which is in reality is just one, and it's not even a felony, but whatever. You know, they blame him for being rich. They just hate him because he can't be bought. They hate him because the guy is making America great. And who is they? Who is hating him? Well, some libtards, right? Some Americans hate him, but in reality, mostly it's illegal immigrants, and we have millions of them in this country. So it doesn't surprise me to see 100,000 people out there protesting. They're illegal. We got over 21, they say 50, but I don't believe Elon Musk too much. Let's just say 21 million. That we deported about almost 1 million. 2 million have been deported. So we got about 18 million illegal immigrants in this country. Do you think this is the population of about 32 states? 18 million illegal immigrants. You can have, oh my God, there's 200,000 people protesting on the street. Let me tell you something. I believe in your freedom of speech. You can protest. But I would love to have some sort of checkpoint where every single protester that goes to protest has to go through a checkpoint and show papers that they are at least a visa holder to be able to protest on the street. I guarantee you hundreds of thousands of these protesters will go away. Oh, fake Dennis came back again and got kicked out. What happened? You are all now defending the PDF files. Billionaires is just partying, is just looking at 10-year-olds. That's what happens, man. You're in timeout. Think about what you did wrong. Maybe you'll come back. Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you. So you got millions of illegal immigrants. When they have, like I only have like 160 people on this chat, right? And if I have 100 of these people in here hating on me, I need my supporters. I need my patriots. I don't care about having illegal views. I want patriot views. You know what I'm saying? I want real people. Oh, that's horrible. That's not the racist. I apologize about that. That ain't right. That ain't right. They're not real people here in this country. If they're illegal, they're not real people. Oh, man. Anyway. Anyway, so the Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum says the way that she is going to stop the cartels. You ready for the plan? Here we go. Hugs and kisses. Man, you can't make that up, bro. You cannot make that up. She literally said hugs and kisses. All right, I think it's time to allow some of you people to call in here. I think we need some calls. All right, let's see. I think we need some calls here. Tom, welcome back to Seattle. If this is your home, you are in the right channel. Let me give you a little quick brief of what's going on here. Well, you probably already know what's going on here in Washington. Hugo, I don't know what the hell you're giving thumbs down for. I'm going to try to open the line so you guys can call in and ask a question. Let's see here. I want to tell me policies that you support on the left and why you don't support the policy. I'm not asking you to support Trump. Why do you not support the policies of Republicans right now? Here we go. You can call in at 425-583-1155. Excuse me. There you go. I'll pin it on there so you guys can see it on the white bar. Any Democrat, go ahead and call and tell me which policies you support on the left, and that's why you vote for them. Okay? I've been watching you. A la 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 long. A la 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 long, long, la long, long, long. Hey now. All right, come on, guys. Call in. Here we go. 10-second delay. I get it. I get it. We'll wait for the 10-second delay. Let's see, what kind of music do I have in here? Let's see. What is this? Ooh. That you're not truly loving, Berna. Go ahead, call in 425-583-1155. Leftist policies that you support. Bernardine, you're to love everybody, not just the ones that love you. Then what is the point of loving? That's not true love. You don't have to like them or be with them or mix with them, but you still got to love them. Don't love because of what you get back. Otherwise, you're not loving. Come on, this is your chance to call in and share your policies that you support. Any policies on the right or left. Give me policies that you support. You can do it. You got the freedom to call in. You get a chance to call in and tell me what policies you support. Come on, I hear this leftist always asking me for my phone number to call in. Well, there you go. I love Everett myself, sir. 45 seconds. Star 67 if you want to block that number. Oh, as a matter of fact, I don't take blocked numbers anymore because people are just jerks. "25 seconds. Go ahead, Robe. Give me a call. I'll give you 5 minutes of uninterrupted airtime. Well, there you go. So people like to complain if I don't let them debate, if I don't let them comment, or if I let them comment. People just want to complain all the time. I don't understand. I don't understand what the bitching and complaining is all about. Every time they get a chance, they just don't take the opportunity. All right, let's go ahead and take a listen to our POTUS with some latest interview from Hannity.
We are going to start now hitting land with regard to the cartels. The cartels are running Mexico. It's very, very sad to watch and see what's happened to that country, but the cartels are running and they're killing 250, 300,000 people in our country every single year.
Drivers are apparently targeted by the cartel. They were, they had their car shot at. The taxi driver was murdered, and the car was set on fire. All of their luggage has been burnt.
No mames. ¿Están bien?
Esto es lo que estamos viviendo. Es horrible.
We've been coming down here for almost 20 years, and we've always told people to come down and check it out because you always feel safe here. We've never, ever not felt safe. And today was the first day as we left the hotel to go have breakfast and saw all the craziness going on and the violence and the smoke that we were actually terrified. And we saw the people running down the streets, running from the flames and stuff and the fire. And we ran back to the hotel, and then that's when they got the shelter in order place, and we've been here all day. And we're staying at Hotel Eloise, and there's no restaurant or bar or anything here. So we've all been here without anything all day, and the staff has been great, running and grabbing stuff and bringing us some snacks and some water and stuff. But it's been pretty scary, as you could see from the videos and pictures I shared, that blocks away is where all of it's happening, and all the OXXOs, they burnt down all of the little OXXOs. So there's been little fires and stuff all over the city around us where it's normally fun and nice and people walking around and all the little local restaurants and all the locals being locked up and hidden with us too. And there's a few homeless people that were brought into this hotel they allowed in so that they had some place to go too. So it's been quite surreal knowing this warm, wonderful place that we come to visit a couple times a year is in lockdown and just terrifying for all the people.
So since this event happened on February 22nd, yesterday, over 70 people have been killed. This is absolutely insane. So, I mean, Trump said it. The cartels are running Mexico. If y'all aren't able to stop something like this from happening,
they're not.
Then, I mean, they're literally running your country.
I mean, we know they're running their country because their president, Claudia Sheinbaum, her competition was taken out by the cartel, and now she's like pro-cartel. But the people seem to really like her and support her. But it seems as if that the cartel is bigger than the government there.
Definitely is. But the Mexican army with the U.S. went to go try and capture.
I like these guys, Carter family.
This dude, and it turned into a shootout where he died. That's why they're very upset. I mean,
it seems like liberals have been siding with this, though.
Looks pretty young.
Because they want the border open, one, and they were literally upset when Trump went to go get and killed the other guy.
No, the liberals are siding with this because they call this imperialism.
They're upset with anything that is pro-America.
Yeah, it's interesting. They just seem to be in favor of everything anti-Trump.
And it just seemed like, oh, look, if we went over there and Trump wiped out the whole Mexico, that would be a good thing.
Nah.
No.
There's innocence there.
The people, the real people that know what's going on in Mexico, they know that these cartels are running and they want that shit to stop.
They do.
It's just part of their way of
You
life.
can't go and kill all the people.
No. I mean, like, wipe out, like...
all the cartels.
Yeah, the cartels.
Yeah, see, the only issue with that is, like, they don't have, like, military suits on you. Like, who's cartel? You know, if they walked in the room, 3 of us could be cartel.
Well, the problem is that President Donald Trump offered to take care of the cartels. And Claudia Sheinbaum says no. It's against our Constitution, she says. Really? Well, you know what else is against the Constitution in Mexico? I'm pretty sure, and I don't have to know it. Letting cartel kill your citizens. Letting cartels run drug lords. Drugs all over the country. I'm sure that's not in the Constitution. That's not allowed in your Constitution. I'm very sure. But Claudia Sheinbaum is a libtard. She is a leftist, a communist. That's why. She is a communist. That's why she acts the way that she acts. And the same thing that they did to the president of Honduras, which the libtards call the big drug lord. He was set up by the same communist that just lost the election. By the same communist who allowed Nicolas Maduro to infiltrate drugs, go through Honduras, and bring to the States. The same people that were supported by the Biden's administration. Isn't it crazy that you have millions of files released? Millions of files released. And everybody and the mama is getting caught with everything except our beautiful POTUS, President Donald J. Trump. Go on. I gave you guys a chance to call. I give you a chance to call and tell me which policies you support. Go ahead. Call me right now before we start playing this video. What policies you support on the left? And if you don't support any policies on the left, which policies on the right are you supporting? And if you are supporting policies on the right, why would you not vote for Republicans again? Go ahead. Give me a call. No, there's no damn echo chamber here, retard. I got my own opinion, sir. Got my own opinions. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to insult you. I need to stop doing that. I apologize about that. It's just, I see all these negative comments in there. After a certain point, yeah, my humanity kicks in. Let's see. All right, Rooster, go ahead and give me a call. Tell me why this is an echo chamber. 3 questions. Which policies on the left you support? Number 2, which policies, if any, on the right you support? And number 3, why would you not vote for Republicans again? Forget about Trump. Take Trump out of it. I'm talking about just policies. Fun fact, I don't even know who the hell you are. I have never kicked you, but what do you want? Why do you think the Epstein files are so heavily redacted? You know, I wish that I can explain it every single day. And I think your question is okay. I'm okay with it. But you can't explain it every day. But I'll just give you the short version of it. I mentioned a long time ago before they wanted to release the Epstein files. And we're going to go back to that. We'll talk a little bit, I guess. The question you should be asking is this. If these files were available to the previous administration, wait, stay with me. Don't get ahead of me. Because you know the question already. I don't have to ask you, right? So if the previous administration, if the previous administration had all these files, they could have unredacted everything, right? During Obama, they had the files. During the trial, the courts had the files. The question that you should really be asking is not whether Trump is in there or not. He's in there millions of times, just not doing what you want him to do. You want him to be guilty so bad, you keep raising false testimonies. But you're just going to bring that punishment back into your life. Sort of like karma, as you guys like to call it. But the question you should be asking is this: should we punish? Should the people go to jail? Should they be in prison? Every single lawyer, judge, witnesses, anybody that was involved on the Epstein Files trial, should they all be in prison for not letting us know 10, 12 years ago about who is actually on these Epstein Files? Because they told us that they redacted all the information. This is not Trump redacting, by the way. I want to make this clear. They told us that the names of the innocent were redacted. How do you know? How do you know who's innocent? How do we know who the hell is innocent and who is actually being redacted on there? And I said this way before. I said, if they do release the files, and they release the Epstein files unredacted, the innocent people will pay the price. If you are, all the libtards, specifically the libtards, and all of these rhinos that we have all over the place, if you demanded the Epstein files, again, you demanded the Epstein files. You don't care about the innocent people. You demanded the Epstein files. I said if they release those files unredacted, the innocent will suffer. And when that happens, you got nobody to blame but yourself. Now, everybody in Congress fell for President Donald Trump's washing of hands. President Donald Trump says, okay, I'll release the files. He released a couple million files in there. No, I think it was like 30,000 files. That was not enough. Everybody in Congress says, release all the files. I got all my rhinos and all my libtards coming in here. Release the Epstein files. Okay, let's release the Epstein files. But Trump already said, you know what? He's not going to sign it. You know why? Because everything that President Donald Trump, libtards are telling us that he's an evil man. He's a pedophile. He's a this and that. It doesn't matter if he found cancer cure. You still hate the man. And how many times do I have to say, stop hating the man and show me the facts. Tell me about the policies. Tell me about the things that are putting America first. Tell me what is protecting American citizens. I don't give a shit about illegal immigrants that are into here in this country. They got to go. This is not their country, especially criminal illegal immigrants. This is not their country, but yet they're destroying American livelihoods. So I don't give a shit about anybody's opinions on that. But tell me, why would President Trump sign those files out of his own will if you're just going to crucify him for doing what you ask him? So what does he do? Nope, I'm not signing jack squat. Congress got to pass it. Congress got to say it. We're going to put it in Congress' hands. You know what happened? Congress went in there, and the last illegal immigrant that went over there that got sworn in, or maybe she's legal, I don't know. But the one that got sworn in so courageously and happily and proudly said, I'm voting to release the files. Take that, President Donald Trump. But President Donald Trump is a Gemini. He's a very smart businessman. And you know what happens to us Geminis? We learn from our mistakes. That's why we're very good people at work, especially when we have good ethics, especially when we have the side of justice mentality, when we have a good moral compass. I'm not saying President Trump is perfect. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I can tell you that I try to critically think about what is going on around me. I know how to read people. I know how to discern what's around me. I know how to stay out of trouble, and I know when to get in trouble. There's a difference that people that over here, they like to just curse at you when you're trying to say something. They have very low IQ. They have no common sense. They never think. They never use their critical thinking skills, probably because they lack them, maybe because they don't have any, right? Like Team Hype, for example. This guy is retarded. He is off his meds. I don't know how high he comes into my channel, but he needs to stop pumping that crack pipe. Just stop it. Stop it. Get yourself sober and come back into my show and ask some real questions. Now, President Trump signs the paper. But if anybody wants to come and say, oh my God, President Donald Trump, you released the files, you signed, you did this, oh, all the innocent people that are blah, 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 blah. You, my friends, all of you libtards and rhinos, release the Epstein files. All of you are guilty for any innocent lives being thrown out in public. There is no such thing as privacy when you're demanding unredacted documents. So shut the hell up with the Epstein files. You morons will never be satisfied because your goal is to see President Trump behind bars. And it's not going to happen because he's innocent. Unbelievable. No, it doesn't bother me. But you know what bothers me? People raising false testimony. People are actually stupid enough to come in here and say that I'm in the Epstein files. That bothers me. You know, how many people are in the files? Huh? There's many. And you talk about innocent victims. Man, most of these victims are made-up victims. Some are prostitutes, crackheads, failures of society. These are your victims. Those young women that saw money and fame. They go out there to have a good time and make a lot of money. That's not victims to me. They know what they're putting themselves into. Innocent children are victims. All these women that go out there and be porn stars, prostitutes, they're not innocent victims. That's the choice in life they chose to do. So shut the hell up because you don't know shit about the Epstein Island. You act like you were there. You act like you have all the facts. You act like your facts is the truth. Well, you can't handle the truth, as the movie says. You don't even know what the hell the truth is. Margarita, just go drink some margaritas. Ice, baby. Again, bring up the damn Epstein files. Go for it. President Trump laughs because he knows the people that are about to get screwed. And you know what? He's looking better and better every day. He's looking more and more innocent every day. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. People that swear they know the truth and they're wrong. You know what pisses me off? I was playing Uno. What's that game called? Uno something. It's the more stressful Uno. If you have 25 cards on your hand, okay? If you have 25 cards on your hand, you lose. You're out of the game. I hate this kind of people because I see them every day. It's just a game. It's not a big deal. But here we are. I'm out there, and I got all these cards on my hands. And then people say, in the table, right, there's like 6 of us. You're out, man. And I started counting. And I said, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 24. I counted 24. Oh, that's 25. Oh, no, you're out. You lost. That's 25. Are you sure? I said. Yeah, I counted. That's 25. You lost. You lost. Let's do this again. And the next time I want you to shut the hell up if you don't know. And I started counting. 1, 2, 3. One by one. Oh, okay. You were right. Well, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't help me, does it? It doesn't help me to be right. Because there's consequences. There's problems in society that because your stupidity and your lack of critical thinking skills, you go out there and spill lies. You know why I talk about tariffs? Because I know what they are. Now, they have made it taxes. It is a form of a tax, but it's not a tax. It's not a national tax. Somehow, the libtards and the retards in Congress have made it out to be a tax. You don't have to pay a tariff. If you choose to pay a tariff, that's on you. Hate speaker. Oh, man. Hate speaker, that's a weird name. We get what we put up with. This gut reaction from the right and left is the proper moral response. It's speaking from the WASP perspective. And that's what I want people to use their critical thinking. I keep saying this many times. Look at the situation. Okay, CNN gives me some information. Okay, Fox gives me some information. Sometimes they both suck. And I can tell you, especially when I talk about the history of my people, I love how other people that have never been in my country, have never lived the life that I live, have never got the education that I got, never experienced anything in my culture or in my life, are so eager to tell me what my history was. That, my friends, it's amazingly stupid and annoying. You're going to tell me what I believe in. I'll tell you what I believe in. You don't get to tell me what I believe in. But people feel entitled to throw accusations out there. You know, I was listening to a professor, an American professor here, and I respect professors that have common sense skills. And he had 3 students, and he's asking them a question. And one of the questions was, what do you think about tariffs? And then one of them answers, and she goes, I think tariffs are evil. I think they're bad. He says, why? I don't know. I don't know. Then why would you put an opinion? Why wouldn't you just say, oh, I don't know much about tariffs. I can't talk about it. I don't know. And the professor's point is very plain to see. He says, then why did you give me an answer if you don't know anything about tariffs? That's what libtards do. That's what the rhinos do. That's what people that don't have common sense do. You guys cook yourselves. Go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead and give you a chance because maybe there's smarter people here now. Here we go. Go ahead and put on. All right, here. Go ahead and put on a policy that you support from Democrats right now. What is a policy that you support? Tell me a policy that you support from the Democrats. Tell me a policy that you don't support from Republicans and why. Let's see how smart you guys really are. I'm going to give you a chance. Yeah. Freedom of speech. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Paul Salsi, what are you smelling in this chat room today? Oh, man. Some say it smells like Nirvana. No, that's not what it smells like. Oh, man. You crazy people. Come on. Forget about the millionaires and billionaires, you libtard. Give me a policy that you support from Democrats, a policy that you support or don't support from Republicans, and why. People 5-6, yes, my friend, we are. We're actually in Everett. Oh, you'll get to meet me in person, I'm sure. You get to meet me in person. Many people don't like me But I am going to put my name on the ballot for governor here in Washington State. A lot of libtards just laugh at that. They think I'm joking. But I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Hey, Speaker, thanks for the super. The Japanese and Indian cultures would react very differently concerning the ages of the potential victims. This is true. Your response saying they kind of bought into the deal fits perfectly with what I know about Hispanic cultures. Thank you for the super, man. So, it's you know what's very interesting, guys, and I know that Real Life 2, that's what I'm going to name you. Real Life 2 says you can't afford to run. Oh, man, that's okay. All right. You can think whatever you want. Listen, we have a socialist Democrat mayor. Look at this. Check this out. She put a couple of videos on Facebook. I never heard of this girl running for mayor in Seattle. She's 41 years old, living in the apartment with her jobless husband, with a child, who they are all being supported by her parents. She's a dropout from college, trying to run Seattle with no experience on responsibility in life. I am almost a half a century old, and I can tell you that I do love the country where I'm from. I do. I love Honduras. There's some problems in Honduras. And I lived a life of poverty and struggle and gangs and violence and abuse, etc. But I came to this country. I was brought here by my mother. I came to this country and I know the difference. This is the greatest country in the world. This is the land of opportunities. And as such, we should respect it and protect it and be grateful that we are in this great nation. They say that Democrats, well, listen, nobody ran against them. 2 Democrats running for mayor. 2 Democrats. One crazier than the other, and the crazier than the other actually got elected. Now, we got to see the voter rolls, which they don't want to release, but I would love to see them completely. And I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to run for governor in Washington State because I'm the smartest guy, or because I can beat anybody, or because I love this and I love that and I know this and I know that. I am nobody. I know nothing. I am weak. I deny myself. I got no plan. The only reason why I am going to run is because I believe that God is in control of everything. Because where I am weak, He is strong. When I am not smart, He knows all. He is wise. Where I have no patience, He has grace. Whatever His will be done in this earth is what I will do. I'm not running for myself. I am running trusting God, believing in God. And if I am just going to be a warning to Washington State, then let me be the tool that delivers this warning. But if it is God's will that I become a governor, I will tell you this, just as President Donald Trump, this is why I understand him. I am so hardcore on people. I am. I'm very strict. I'm a very big disciplinary. I am a budget freak. I like to have control of my life. I don't like being manipulated. So God has to be in control. I had to give up everything in order for me to allow God to work. It doesn't matter what you think about me as a Christian or not. It's irrelevant. As I said before in my show, my salvation does not depend on your approval of my life. It doesn't depend on your approval of my language. Talk about freedom of speech, and yet you get offended with every single word that I say that is true. Ironic, ain't it? Very ironic. If God puts me in there, He is the one that's going to touch the hearts of the people to vote. And as President Donald Trump did, he ate alive J.D. Vance, Little Rubio. He tore up everybody. Everybody. And you know what he found out by tearing these people up? They found out how strong they really were. See, I like competition. I'm very competitive. And what I really like that God has given me, some call it a curse. I call it a blessing. The more people put me down, the more I fight back. The more people tell me, there is no hope, the more I want to find it. The more people tell me that I'm not successful, the more I want to be successful. Do you understand? That is exactly how Trump is. And I support him. I support all the policies from Republicans right now. All of them. Will I do them different than President Trump? Probably. We're different people. Would I be as successful as him? Who knows? Maybe, maybe not. Sometimes I think Trump is not hardcore enough. But you know what? What is crazy is this, and this is the reality of things. I love it when God puts words in my mouth. The reality of things is that the reason, and if you're a loyalist, sorry to bust your bubble, but here comes the truth. The reality is that the Republican Party, it's only as good as it is today, and they're fighting for the American people because the Republican leaders that we have right now in the administration were Democrats. Go figure. Go figure. The enemy, as they say, has joined the other side. And the difference is that the Republican side continues to stand up for Americans, toward Democrats, the fake Democrat Party. They left you. If you're a Democrat, the party left you a long time ago. It's just a matter of you deciding, do you want to support policies that you have been supporting for decades, probably all of your life, or do you want to continue to support a party that left you behind? The Democratic Party, they are 180-degree turn. They are day and night from what the Democrats were a couple decades ago. You've seen this. Welcome, Baba. You've seen this. Nancy Pelosi. Love that lady. Hillary Clinton. Bill Clinton is one of my favorite presidents. I don't care what anybody says. Bill Clinton was one of my favorite presidents. Was he perfect? No. Did he make mistakes? Yeah. Every president does. Chuck Schumer. Who gives a shit? I don't care about him. I never care about Biden because he's always been a weasel. He's always been a racist prick. All his career. Look it up. Look it up. All his career. He's been like that. Marco Rubio went against President Trump. A lot of people in Congress, senators, called rhinos now, they had a mindset for the American people and they betrayed us. Oh, Jay Firo, this guy's, he's from another country. He's not American. That's okay. You guys still playing that violin? That's enough. We don't care about that violin story. The Republican Party today is actually the real Democrats. The reason why President Donald Trump did not want to concede to the 2020 election, as we all know, is because there was fraud. There was fraud committed. And they imprisoned anybody who can testify against it. They made lies of them. How do I know? Well, see, demons, Satan and his demons, they're jealous of us. They're jealous of humankind's success. And they use our own jealousy and enviousness against each other. The difference is that many of us who believe in God has been touching our lives one way or another. Now, some of us might just be astray from where we were before, but we know inside our hearts that God is real. We're not happy with the results of a sin. That doesn't make God unreal. Raising false testimony is what demons do. That's what evil does. And all of these leftist people and all of these people that call good evil and evil good, they will pay the price for that. And that should tell you who they belong. For example, the leftists, for some reason, they say that ICE federal agents who are enforcing federal law, which is immigration law, to deport illegal immigrants. All right, Jay, you go to timeout for 10 minutes. Think about what you did wrong. Hold on, Milwaukee. Hold on. I'll give a window for calls. The libtards want to follow what Satan says. See, they like to go out there and this is what Satan likes. He wants you to look like a monster. He wants you to look ridiculous. He wants you to look ugly. Now, don't miss the point. Don't miss the point. I'm going to tell you right now. If you feel or believe that you are a good person, this is not for you. But if you're throwing out hate out there, like, oh, Lamar, you're one of those demons, aren't you? If you're calling me that you are one of those demons, you know I'm telling the truth. Truth is like holy water to demons. It's like light to vampires. You guys can't handle the truth, can you? You can't handle it. But it's all good. It's all good. I said, devil, Satan, may God rebuke you. And for all you demons out there doing his work, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. And I don't care if you like or don't like me. The fact is that you are doing Satan's work and you're proud of it. You use sexual immorality to defy God. You use perversion to defy God. You want to throw stones when your hands are full of sin. You like to call in here and say that we're defending pedophiles, and yet you are supporting the party that takes minors into adult shows. You say that we are the ones that support pedophiles, but you support the party that walks down the street in downtown Seattle naked. Ding-dongs hanging out, children watching, boobies out in the open, children watching. This is your party. This is the thing that you support. And you have the nerves to come over here and judge us. Where is your love for the 300,000 minor illegal immigrants that were trafficked, that nobody knows where they are? That pedophile that you so-called pedophile, right? That pedophile that you believe is a pedophile. I don't believe he's a pedophile, but that's what you call him, is the one that has paid ICE agents, the FBI, and has used all the resources that we have available to be able to find them. And they're still trying to find them. You, the people on the left side, the libtards, that support human trafficking, drugs coming into our country, you libtards are responsible for the bad things that happen in our country. I don't care about the opinion of people of no faith or of a fake religion. People have no moral compass. Dumbass people, they think they are saved because they put a sheet over their head. But they don't realize that doesn't save them. That's not salvation. There's only one way to be saved. There's only one way, one truth, and one life. And that is Jesus Christ. But the demons that come in here just to hate, you see them on the streets. The same demon that was in the tribunal when Jesus was being condemned. The same demons that yelled out, crucify him and give us the criminal. That is the same demon, the same legion that we see on these protesters out on the street. I don't tell you to go out there, confront these protesters. We could protest together if that's what happens, but we're not going to go against them. Instead, we're going to pray so that they are saved. Because our fight is not against each other. It's against demons, against principalities, for a lot of the unknown. My channel is about religion and politics and stories. I get it. And I don't want you to misunderstand. I know how to divide government and church. But a lot of people that come into my channel and like to tell me I'm not a Christian, what exactly is a Christian? They don't know. And by the things that they preach and condole, it tells me that they are not Christians themselves. You see, the devil knows the Bible better than you and I will ever will. But that's why we pray. That's why we got to study. That's why we got to have the Holy Spirit guidance so that we can fight against those false prophets and false teachings. Those same people on the Democratic side that keep defending Muslims, and yet they call us pedophile supporters. They defend Muhammad, a pedophile, a very known pedophile. And they allow them here in our country. Let me tell you something. If they want to be pedophiles in Muslim countries, go. But you don't do that here in our country. We got laws. This is a nation of law and order. And you will respect the law of this country. Illegal immigration breaks the law. Muslims who support pedophilia breaks the law. So why do you support them? If you're a Muslim, you should pray to God, to the real God, and ask him to guide you. And if you don't accept the truth that you receive from God, and you decide to continue to follow a fake religion, well, you alone are responsible for your life. I don't want to be responsible for my life. I'd rather have Jesus Christ be responsible for my life. Science is knowledge given by God. Of course. The Bible says that at the end of days, in the last days, people, Christians, will stop believing because of the knowledge that will be multiplied greatly in humankind. That many people will see all of the things that we have around and will have knowledge of how it works. Because God allows you to know. And the more you know about the world, the less you think about your spiritual relationship between you and God. Hey, speaker, your assumption that religion and politics are separate highlights a critical flaw in your base assumptions. One is the soil for the other's roots. No, I don't think you understand how to separate. Here, let me tell you something. Let me see if I can find an example. Okay, I'll give you this one example. Okay, you know, Hollywood has done a tremendous job making us believe that there is aliens out in other galaxies. Now, I think my God is so good, it's so big, there might be, but we're not going to see them here. There might be. But I can tell you something. Let me give you this. Jesus said, and I don't have any here. I don't have my wallet. But you guys know. Jesus talked to the people and said, grab the coin. Back in the day. Grabbed the coin and said, tell me, whose face is on this coin? And the people replied to him, that's Caesar. And how did Jesus Christ show us to separate government and church? How do we separate them? Can anybody put it on the chat and just give me the line? What did Jesus tell the crowd? Samuel. You're not Caesar, you're Samuel. What did Jesus say? What did Jesus say to the people? Go on. And this is how you separate government and church. See, I don't have to make up my own truth. I don't have to make it up. And God we trust. No. Give Caesar's what is Caesar's, and give God what is God's. Ah, bless you. So how do you separate government from church? That's how. Yeah, no, I talked about it. Maybe you missed it. Maybe you missed it. I'm all 100% for the Epstein files. I'm 100%. And I want everybody that is guilty to be punished. That's 100%. Absolutely. I happen to believe that President Trump is innocent. But if he is proven guilty, well, then the consequences are enormous, and he has to pay for it. Everybody has to pay for it. There's consequences to every action. Let's see. Bro, I'm giving you a chance, man. You're just trying to distract from the real issue. Maybe the delay. There's a delay. So I will give you the benefit of doubt on that stupid comment. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. Aldrin Velasquez, thank you. 100%. Let me tell you how much I love myself. I love myself so much that I will never break the law. Because if I do, I know that I will be separated from my family. I know that I'm going to go to jail. I know there's a punishment for my decisions in breaking the law. So I would never come to this country illegally. My mother taught me this when I was a child. I learned this in the Bible as well. Jesus Christ went to a city. And he went there and he performed miracles, and he's a good Samaritan. I mean, the Son of God is the best that you can have in your city. But the people didn't like him. And they told him to get out. The Bible says that he was saddened by this. And he turned around and he left. So when you say, love your neighbor as you love thyself, I tell illegal immigrants, don't come here illegally. Don't be here illegally. I would hate to see your family suffer because of your stupidity and the bad decisions that you have made in life. That's how much I love myself. And I talk to people the way that I talk to myself. The difference is I got to make a change. You can't handle the truth. And that's not a joke. You can't handle it. You can't handle it. Jesus Christ also sent his disciples to preach the good news. And he said, go on to the world. Go everywhere and preach the good news. Tell them that the Son of God has come. And preach and share and teach everything you have seen. Go on to each door and knock on that door. If they open the door and welcome you, go inside their home. Pray for them and let your peace rest with them. But if they reject you and they don't welcome you, let your peace come back to you, dust off the dust of your sandals, and move along. Very basic teachings. I find that interesting that so-called Christians don't understand what that means. The Bible tells us to respect the law of the land. God doesn't say, my law will override the law of the country that you're in. That's not what it says. But our country, our nation, the Christian countries, they are based on some of those laws, which we don't see them as actual laws, but more of footnotes or a recipe to live as a prosperous and a healthy and united nation. That, my friends, is Bible teaching. And that, my friends, is why there is a similarity of why government does seem to be a bit religious, because the foundation, the moral compass, it is a Christian Judaism derived. That doesn't mean that I'm Jewish. That doesn't mean that I believe in Judaism. But the Christianity part of it is for us pagans. And the 10 Commandments. What are the 10 Commandments? Well, I can tell you the very important ones. Right? Because Jesus Christ also came in to fulfill the law, he said. He didn't come to change it. So he gave us 2 commands. And these 2 commands are the most secret recipe that everybody has. Everybody knows this secret recipe to live prosperous and free and just have a great life. And he says, love your neighbor, the person next to you, as I love you. That's phenomenal. That tells me that he loves me no matter what. But if I don't want to be with him, he will be such a gentleman that he will walk away from me. You see, it is always my choice. He doesn't impose himself upon you. It is always our choice if you want to maintain the relationship with God. He didn't say speak like this or speak like that. But he says speak life. Not saying a word like shit or hell. That's not death. You can use a different meaning for it. Whatever you want to do, that's not death. But if I tell you to respect the law, it is good for your life. If I tell you to love your country, it is good for your children. If you teach your children to love this nation, they're going to grow up to fight for it. If you teach them to hate this nation, they will grow up to allow our enemies to destroy it. Do you understand? And the greatest commandment that I give you is to love God with all your might, with everything you got. And that's it. That is the key, the secret that was given to us to have a good life. Why is that, Dennis? Well, first of all, if I love my neighbor, I'm going to tell them when they're doing something wrong. And I'm going to support them on the things that they're doing good. See, Bernie, you are the living example of what I'm talking about. People like Bernie, specifying here because I have a better Bernie than this, they are a living example of the people who are destroying this country. This is a Christian country. So give me something else that Jesus says. Let's go with cutting edge. I'm not ignoring you, brother. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. Yes, he said that, but never love the sin. Thank you very much. I should have read that a long time ago. This is why they use the Bible in a bad way to control us. And that is very obvious. Hey, Speaker, thanks for the super chats, man. You're helping a lot. Let's see. God sits at the head of all tables. The correct interpretation of that quote would be giving nothing to the fake king and holding all gold for the benefit of the godly tribe. No, that's not true. The interpretation that I get from being the head of the table is that anybody, and I'm going to use different words. Now you might think this is wrong, and that's okay. But I'm going to tell you this. Why do we call Jesus the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords and the God of gods if we know that only God is the true God, Jehovah, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Tell me why he will still hold himself to say, I am the Lord of Lords. Well, he doesn't say it, but we know. He's the Lord of Lords, the God of gods. He's the King of Kings. Why do we say that? We say that because a lot of people think they are God. We say that because a lot of fake religions will say that they are the true religion. So when they sit at the table and he sits at the head, he is above all of them. He is the head of everything that is good. When we say every knee shall bow in the presence of our Lord, that is exactly what we mean. Samuel says, Islam 0, Christianity 2026. I like that. Hey, you don't mind if I copyright that and put it on my shirts? I like that. He also said, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife. Trump doesn't like that commandment. Well, here, Matt Lanza, I like how you bring up the negative things on people, which is okay. You should exhort them. And you should say something if you are a Christian. If he is a Christian. So what about it? What about his personal life that you are so against stops you from supporting him? All right. I'm going to go ahead and allow you guys to call in. So go ahead and give me a call and tell me. I don't want to hear bad things about Trump. I want to hear about the policies from the Republicans, the policies from the Democrats. Call me and tell me which policies you support and why you vote the way you vote. Okay? There's the number right there pinned on the chat. Somebody called me earlier. You can still hear. You can call back. I want you to give me policies. Policies. Teach me what policies are. Amen, Cutting Edge. I like that. Remember, we know it's 2026 by the sacrifice of Jesus. Ain't that the truth, my friend? And historians, some of them try to say something else, but Ram said, I'm asking for a friend. What did he ask? I don't know what he asked. How is the Orange Clown coming on at 9 tonight? Oh, yeah, 6 p.m. What is it? 6 p.m. Eastern time? 9 p.m. Okay, 6 p.m. my time, West Coast time. We are definitely going to go ahead and listen to that. I can't wait. And by the way, okay, so nobody wants to call and talk to me about policies that they support from Democrats. Let me remind you that everybody that colluded with CNN and all the legacy media outlets about this whole Russia collusion with Trump and this and that, let me remind you that was fake. It was all fake, and we know the truth today. And if you hated Trump because of that, you owe the man an apology. Dosito, what's going on, man? Good to see you, bro. Just in time. We're about to listen to our Republicans here share some comments. I haven't seen this, so let's go ahead and take a listen. You can no longer call because I'm going to be listening to the video.
Well, good morning, everybody. So good to see you all. I want to first start by congratulating all of our Olympians. It was a phenomenal weekend. It was a phenomenal period of time to see people represent the United States of America. And I think if you watched any part of the hockey game, men's or women's, you really saw true Americans. And what I want to say is thank you for the American athletes who represented America and gave their best. And just compare and contrast to some of those athletes, and I won't even dignify them by giving them a name, that train in America, that live in America, that were born in America, who have enjoyed the freedoms that America has given them, and then they don't even have the respect for the country in which has given them so much to represent that country. I wonder why. I can think of about 20 million reasons why. But I noticed at the end, that person didn't get on a plane and go back to that communist country. They came back to the free country, the US of A, who is the best country in the world to give them that opportunity. And just compare and contrast with what we saw with the men's hockey team. They are proud to be an American, and they showed it, and they left everything on the ice. So congratulations to all the American athletes who trained here and have pride in their country. And with that, I'm going to switch gears.
We're going to pause this because we got to give credit to at Hate Speaker Sargon of Akkad. He is the stream boss, and as such, we know that we do a little dance. You are the boss, El Jefe, the patron. the big boss, El Jefe, El Patron. Thank you for your super chats, brother. You are the stream buzz of the chat today.
And talk a little bit about the State of the Union tonight. You know, President Trump is going to tell the truth that the media won't tell. The state of our union is strong, and it is getting stronger. Let's be clear about what we walked into. When President Trump began his second term, he didn't inherit a smooth runway. He inherited a complete disaster. But he's delivering results. Under Democratic rule, reckless spending lit inflation to a 40-year high. Under President Trump and Republicans, inflation has fallen to 2.4%, a 70% drop from its peak. That's not luck, ladies and gentlemen. That's leadership. Under Democrats, 20 million illegal immigrants poured through our open borders. And thanks to President Trump and Republicans, Remain in Mexico is back, Catch and Release is dead, and we've had 9 straight months of 0 releases. The border is safe and secure. And that's not luck, that's leadership. Under Democrats, radical overregulation sent gas prices through the roof. Under President Trump and Republicans, gas prices are at a 4-year low, and Americans' energy is roaring back. That's not luck, that's leadership. The bottom line is this: Republican leadership is working. Maybe not for the Washington bureaucrats, but it is working for the American people. And today, I want to introduce you to one of them. Standing next to me is Ben Hockenberry, a constituent of mine from Lake Orion, a West Point grad, father and small business owner. At Artemis Search Group, Ben helps American manufacturers grow and veterans find meaningful careers when they come home. Because of working families' tax cuts, Ben gets a small business deduction where he can reinvest, use to hire and actually grow his business here in America. And as a father of 3, he keeps more of his paycheck thanks to the expanded child care tax credit. And all 3 of his kids are eligible for the new Trump's savings account, jump-starting their own American dream. And Ben isn't the only one. Last week it was reported tax refunds are up 11% this year. That's real money back in your pockets. But again, you don't need to hear it from me. Ben is right here. So I'm going to yield the floor to him to share what these policies mean for him and his family. Ben?
Thank you, Congressman.
Here, let me move this for you. I don't need that.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. As the Congresswoman said, my name is Ben Hockenberry, and I am a proud small business owner from Lake Orion, Michigan, and a constituent of Congresswoman Lisa McClain. I own Artemis Search Group. We are an executive search firm that places veterans getting out of the military into jobs, specifically into the manufacturing segment. Like so many other business owners, the last few years have been working harder and harder just to stay even. And thanks to the working families tax cuts, my business finally has some breathing room. The 23% small business deduction will allow me to reinvest back into my company, support my employees, and plan for growth instead of uncertainty. In addition to my small business, this is also going to help grow other small businesses. That will be a good landing spot for the vets I work with. But it isn't just about my business, it's also about my family. I have 3 young children. The expanded child tax credit means more stability for parents like me who are raising kids and trying to build a better future. And with the new Trump accounts, my children will have a real financial foundation to build on as they grow up, something every parent hopes to provide for their children. Policies championed by President Trump and leaders like Congresswoman McClain are making a real difference. For my business, for my kids, and for families like mine across Michigan, these policies mean opportunity, security, and real hope for the future. Thank you. I'll hand it over to Whip Topheimer.
Thank you. Thanks, Ben. The State of the Union is only as strong as the state of its people. And under President Trump and Republican majorities in Congress, The American people are stronger than ever. Stronger because President Trump and Republicans have secured the border, restored safety to our communities, slashed wasteful government spending, and held fraudsters accountable, and delivered historic tax relief to hardworking Americans through the Working Families Tax Cut. As the 2026 tax season begins to unfold, we're hearing more and more about how this once-in-a-generation piece of legislation is benefiting Americans from every walk of life. Families are keeping more of their hard-earned money in their pockets. We're talking refunds increased by $1,000 or more on average, according to financial experts. To highlight just how impactful these tax cuts are, I'm honored to be welcoming two Minnesotans to the Capitol today for President Trump's State of the Union address. I want to thank Blaine Police Chief Brian Padani for joining us here this morning, standing behind me. For Chief Padani and the police force he oversees, no tax on overtime is a game changer. Not only will this provision allow our men and women in blue to keep more of their hard-earned dollars in their pockets, it's also going to help Chief Padani with recruitment and retention, making our communities stronger and safer. Blaine Brothers Board Chairman Dean Daly will also be joining us later today to highlight how provisions like the 100% immediate full expensing are allowing small, family-owned businesses like Blaine Brothers to grow. The benefits of this once-in-a-generation tax bill reach far and wide. While monumental in its impact, tax relief is only part of President Trump's successful economic agenda. The president inherited an utterly broken economy and has spent the past 13 months putting the train back on the tracks. Inflation continues to cool, as Lisa talked about. Wages are up. Prices at the gas pump are down to record lows. By nearly every measure, Republicans' economic agenda has delivered real financial freedom for the American people. Freedom to buy a home, freedom to start a business, freedom to grow your family, freedom to pursue the happiness our nation's founders recognized as a God-given right. And it's only been 13 months. Thanks to President Trump, the State of the Union is strong and getting even stronger. Again, I want to thank Chief Padani and Mr. Daly for making the trek to Washington, even in what some would call inclement weather. Not really for us from Minnesota, or Michigan, by the way. These two leaders from the largest city in my district represent the best of Minnesota and put on full display how real Americans are benefiting from Republican leadership here in Washington. With that, speaking of leadership, I turn it over to our majority leader, Steve Scalise. Big hockey fan.
Thank you, Whip. We're all hockey fans this time of year with that exciting finish to the Olympics, and what a great Olympics it was. And especially, you know, my wife and I, we don't watch a lot of hockey like the Whip might, but we were watching, and when that went into overtime, and then the Americans won the gold medal, it was just euphoria. We were jumping up and down, celebrating, and then to watch those hockey players talk about their patriotism and their love for America after it was over, I think was inspiring to so many Americans who can easily get jaded when you think about how this town works, how some people just want to talk down America every single day and want to pit people against each other all the time. The Olympics was a great opportunity to remind us that we're all Americans, and when we come together, we can achieve great things. And that hockey team did achieve great things, and we're going to see them, and we're going to celebrate them tonight. We're going to be celebrating a lot of other great things tonight as President Trump talks about the 250th birthday of America, how we got here, what we've done so well, what we still need to do to keep making this a more perfect union. And look, the State of the Union is getting stronger, but make no mistake, when President Trump took office, this economy was on its knees after years of Democrat control, bringing record inflation, record interest rates. You saw energy prices through the roof, more than $5 a gallon in most places. Today, families are paying, in most states, about $2.50 a gallon. That's half of what they were paying. And for a working family, Just lower gas prices alone from President Trump's policies means about $600 more in the pockets of hardworking families. Doesn't mean that we're finished. There's a lot more work to do. But I think what you're going to hear tonight from President Trump is a reminder of how great this country is, what that greatness has done to improve the lives of people, and what work we still have to do to continue getting this country back on track. We're not where we want it to be, but for anybody who wants to take us back to where we were just a year and a half ago to 3 years ago, let's remind them of where Democrats take us when they get full power. You don't have to go to California or New York to know how bad things can get, because they were that bad here in D.C. before Donald Trump became president. We had a wide open, porous border with millions of people coming across. Every single month, you would see record numbers coming in. And there were violent criminals coming into our country, drug cartels. The Mexican drug cartels had operational control of our southern border. And for people that don't remember how bad it was, just look at what's going on right now in Guadalajara. Just look at what's happening in that country as their leadership finally starts to confront the cartels. But they were running our southern border and bringing bad people and poisonous drugs into our country every single day. And Donald Trump ran for president saying, I'm going to do something about it. And he worked with this Republican Congress to fix that mess. And we started focusing on other problems too. We're starting to get this economy back on track. Wage growth is finally up. It's not where we need it to be. Families lost $3,000 of buying power during Biden's 4 years in office. $3,000. They've made up $1,200 of it so far. But that means there's more to go. And so we're going to be laying out an agenda. You're going to see us continuing to move more good bills like we've already been moving. And you're going to see the president laying out policy ideas tonight that this Congress will move. Sadly, Democrats have voted no on just about every major policy that have fixed the mess that they made. And that's okay, because we're going to do the job anyway. And some of those people that are benefiting from those policies are going to be in the balcony tonight. You're going to see some of those stories, and Chair McClain talked about some of them. You saw Whip Emmer talk about some of them. I'm going to highlight two of them right here. We're going to be two of my guests that I'm very proud of. We've got Heath Sykes, who's a server, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans. We're known for our food. We love our food. Drago's Restaurant is where they invented the charbroiled oysters. He gets to serve charbroiled oysters every day, and so many other great meals from a true American dream success story. The Satanovich family is a second-generation family that fled communism to come seek the American dream, and they now have it in the Drago's Restaurants. And he serves there and no longer has to pay tax on tips. And he gets to celebrate what that means for having more money in his pocket and being able to do more for his family. And then the other guest I have is Anthony Bettoni, who's a deputy sheriff in Jefferson Parish, where I live. And thank you for your service. We all celebrate our men and women in law enforcement, but so often our men and women in law enforcement are working extra hours to make ends meet, to provide for their family. And when they work overtime, a lot of times they were paying so much more in overtime, it didn't make it worthwhile. And we said, working with President Trump, why should people have to pay taxes on overtime? And now because of that, our Deputy Bettoni's going to be able to have more money in his pocket to provide for his family. And by the way, his family's growing. He is now a girl dad like me. He's got a 1-year-old daughter, and he's going to have more money in his pocket to provide for his daughter. And families all across the country are benefiting from what we did. Republicans are working with President Trump to make life more affordable for working families in America. And that's what we've been focused on since Donald Trump became president. And I think that's what you're going to hear the president talk about tonight, and leading the effort to get those bills signed into law to help bring that prosperity back and keep that work going as our speaker, Mike Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Welcome, everybody. When President Trump said we were going to usher in a new golden era for America, he meant it figuratively and literally. And we do want to thank all of our Olympic athletes who worked so hard and represented us so well. in the Olympics, and the gold medal matches were really something to see. And you've heard a lot said about the hockey teams, the men's and women's. Gold, it was incredible. Both of them, you couldn't have scripted it better. Overtime games and the excitement and euphoria that happened afterwards. Millions of people watched those games across the world. And what a great moment it was for America. And it reminded us that we're all on the same team. And we hope that everyone will keep that in mind tonight, because we are. The president called me Sunday night, and he said, Mike, we got to make some changes. We need some more guests. Okay, well, you know, the State of the Union is a very well-attended event, and the gallery is already full, and we have waiting lists of people that want to be there. I said, Mr. President, how many people are you talking about? I think the whole team. Okay, well, so we're going to work out logistics, and somehow, some way, we'll squeeze in the hockey players tonight, and it'll be a great moment for America. And it really is a symbol to all of us that we all play for America's team. And I hope everybody will remember that tonight, even as we stand in the midst of yet another painful and unnecessary Democrat shutdown of the government. I mean, it's almost unbelievable to us. Not one, not two, but now 3 government shutdowns in just the last 100 days. What in the world are they thinking? This time they've taken hostage, as you know, the Department of Homeland Security. The department that is literally in its name, it's very indicative of its duties. It keeps Americans safe. And so funding for the agencies that protect our borders and mitigate disasters and help keep all of us able to walk down the streets without fear. That's the agency they've chosen to hold hostage. Well before the funding deadline, Republicans, as you know, worked in good faith to pass a year-long, full-year funding for DHS, and we did that through a bipartisan committee process. Democrats in both the House and the Senate negotiated on that, and now Democrats in both chambers have reneged on that bipartisan deal. Just 1 week into this, the consequences of Democrat shutdown are already painfully clear. Look at FEMA. Their operations are really important right now. If they haven't noticed, we have an historic season of winter storms slamming the East Coast, even as we speak, in the northern parts. TSA is having to make difficult resource decisions, as you've seen, and agents working another week without pay. Some of those are high-stress positions. It's not right. It's not fair. The Secret Service, as you know, is charged among its other duties of protecting the president. And yet another armed attempt was made on his life just this weekend. This is not a game. I don't need to remind anybody. 2026 is an historic year for our country, and it'll be a great year of celebration. It'll be a part of the big golden era, the 250th celebration, our birthday. But you're going to have, during the year, tens of millions of guests. We're hosting the FIFA World Cup in 11 cities around America. We have festivals and tournaments and so many highly attended, high-profile events around the country. Obviously, we need the protection of a fully funded Department of Homeland Security. We shouldn't even have to say that. This gambit that Democrats are involved in is as foolish as it is dangerous. They cannot hold up that critical funding any longer. There is planning that's required for these events. There's all sorts of logistics involved, and personnel as well. And it's time for Democrats to do their job before they risk the literal lives of the American people any further. Now tonight, the president will deliver his State of the Union, and he said, as a preview, it may be a little long because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of wins to tout, and he's excited to do that. I'm honored to have with me one of my several guests, Trotter Hunt, who's standing here next to me. He's from Ruston, Louisiana, in my district. His business, like so many American businesses and some of the others represented here this morning, is already benefiting from our historic, big, beautiful working families tax cut. And certainty that he gets from this is what our pro-business tax cuts and incentives have delivered. And that's very helpful for everybody. We're grateful to Trotter for making the trip, and I'm honored to host him in the chamber tonight. So thank you for being here and bringing your beautiful wife and representing our district so well. This evening, the entire country will hear an update on the full scope of President Trump's transformational and historic first year back in office. The results speak for themselves. Why does he have so much to talk about? Because inflation's down, wages are up, investment is booming, the GDP is exceeding every expectation. Democrats, meanwhile, are going to host, count them, 5 separate counter events, rallies of some sort, they call them, in lieu of tonight's address. For all of these theatrics, it doesn't matter how many little gatherings they have or where they stand or how high the volume is on the microphones. They have nothing to offer, nothing but their TDS agenda, the Trump derangement syndrome, and it's on full display. All they can say, all they can tell you about is how they oppose President Trump and thwart his agenda and shut down the government and protest everything from the president's joint address to basic immigration enforcement, and they obstruct any meaningful progress for the sake of obstruction. It's the same tired playbook that they've run for a decade now. It's shameful that they would boycott an address. We don't do that. Republicans don't do that. It doesn't matter if there's a president from the opposing party. We don't skip out. Our constituents want and need us to be here. Every member of this House represents over 750,000 people. They're disenfranchised if you're not sitting in the seat to be a part of the role and the responsibility of Congress. I think it's shameful. Republicans have a far simpler and far superior message for Americans watching at home. We're putting more money back in your pockets. We're restoring peace through strength. We're defending our border and deporting criminal illegal aliens. We're standing up for American industry and manufacturing. And we're making American workers, not foreign countries, the clear winners in this American economy. Those are not talking points. That is what we have delivered. It's called Republican results, and we are proud to run on that message in this fateful midterm election year. So tonight, President Trump will demonstrate that Republicans are the only team working seriously to bring common sense back to our broken system. It's promises made, promises kept. And he's working, and we're all working together to make the country stronger, safer, and more affordable, and more prosperous for all Americans. And many of them will be represented in that big, beautiful gallery tonight. The American people will see that reflected this evening and in the months ahead as we press forward on all of those promises and so much more. We're excited. It's a great time for America. Take a few questions. Yes, sir.
Speaker.
Becker.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you, you and Representative Chris Smith have invited Jimmy Lai, his daughter.
Yes.
Claire. Jimmy, of course, is a Catholic who is being held in China for his religious and democracy views.
Yeah.
Why was it so important to invite her, and what do you hope she gets out of it?
Well, it's a very important symbol of America's principles and what we've been advocating for around the globe. When I gave my address to the British Parliament just several weeks ago, I mentioned Jimmy Lai in that address as well. He's a British citizen, actually, but he's been detained in China for just simply engaging in free speech. We need to send a message to the Chinese Communist Party, the Marxists, and all those who believe in this communist idea that you can shut down, censor, and silence opposing viewpoints. That's not consistent with basic human rights. And America has always been a bulwark to stand for those liberties, and I think having his daughter here tonight is I hope it'll be a poignant symbol to everybody around the world that America is the great superpower because we stand for basic human rights, our inalienable rights that we celebrate on the 250th anniversary of the greatest nation in the history of the world. Think of it, we're the only country, I sound like President Trump, think of it. We're the only country in the world that was founded upon the idea that our rights come from God, our Creator, and not from the government. And the profound impact of that, the implications of that truth, is what has led us down the path to be the most free, most successful, most powerful, most benevolent nation in the whole history of the world. The communists and the Marxists have a totally different view. Their worldview begins with the premise that there is no God. And so if there is no God and there is no Creator who gives you your inalienable rights, they are very much alienable and they can be taken away from you. If the government is powerful enough to give you all your rights, the government can take them away. We stand in direct opposition to that. And I'm excited the President and all of us will be standing tonight in the rostrum right above us with the national motto, "In God We Trust." That's America, man. It's as good as the gold that the hockey team won. And I hope we put that on display tonight with all of our guests as well. Yes, sir.
Last question. Speaking of some of the guests that are going to be in this night, some of the justices on the Supreme Court are sitting in the front row. President Trump voluntarily referred to some of the justices as disgrace, said that she worked with what actors. Do you expect the president to address the justices directly tonight, and would you call him against making sort of accusations against this?
I'm not sure the content of the speech, but I expect it'll be a positive, affirming statement about all the things that we have accomplished together and all the plans we have going forward. The president, of course, was frustrated about the Supreme Court decision, but we're sorting out the fallout from that and what it means for us. But I think tonight's going to be a great celebration of America and all that we've achieved together, so we're looking forward to that. Thank you all so much.
All right, welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. And out of nowhere, President Trump inside of the Oval Office signing potentially an executive order. Let's listen into this here on Live Now from Fox on this Monday.
Years, the presidents did a lot of talking, but they didn't do anything. Over the past year, my administration has taken extraordinary steps to make sure the United States has all of the critical minerals and rare earths that we need. We're investing in mining projects, we're expediting federal permitting. The federal permitting, and a lot of it is Lee Zeldin, who's been fantastic, but federal permitting is such a big deal. And we're doing that. The permitting of mines and signing major critical mineral deals with countries from all over the world, and we're getting along with all of them. Every one of them, they want to be in the proper position. We're working very well with countries from all over the world today. We're building on these achievements with this vital new reserve, and now I would like to ask Exim Chairman John Yovanovitch to say a few words, followed by our friends from business in Congress. We'll go over that. But we have some great business leaders, the best, here today. And John, if you would start it off, that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. The President gave us a very clear directive. By clear directive, it was much more of an order for us to figure out how to, for the first time in American history, create a strategic critical minerals reserve in a way that would benefit the non-military manufacturing complex. And the challenge was enormous, not simply because it had never been done before, Mr. President, but we knew that you expected us to deliver in a big way, in a way that was scalable, in a way that was designed for long-term success, and in a way that would help revitalize our domestic mining industry. But most importantly, most crucially, that it not be subsidized by American taxpayers. And so that's exactly what we've done. Mr. President, what you've announced today is a truly uniquely American solution. It brings together our capital markets, which are the best and biggest in the world, with our manufacturers, our innovators, our miners, all pitching in to make this possible. Now, these things don't happen without the best and the brightest within industry being at the table. And Mr. President, everyone wants to engage with this administration, with your administration. The key ingredient here was your call to action. Your call to action allowed us to bring together the best players in the market, sometimes the fiercest competitors, getting them to work together to come up with a creative solution. Now, in addition to our great team at the Export-Import Bank, who worked around the clock, led by Brian Greeley, Jeff Wilson, Sarah Whitten, many others, we benefited from having the biggest manufacturing CEOs, the smartest market players at the table, all looking to solve this problem. So what we have with Project Vault is marrying the capital solution with what we need when we need it most. And the best part about it is that the American taxpayer will earn a return on financing the first ever strategic critical minerals reserve in history. And we thank you, Mr. President, for allowing this to happen. All of the people around us today help make it possible. Our cabinet secretaries, our top CEOs, their teams, top market players, whether it be GM, GE Vernova, Boeing, Clarios, Google, Mercuria, especially Brian Fallick, Hartree, Traxxas, our friend Robert Friedland. All of us work together, Mr. President, to deliver this for you, and for the American people, so that manufacturers and workers all across the country can rest assured they'll have what they need when they need it most. So,
And you're covering everything with this. We're not just doing certain minerals and rare earths. We're doing everything.
Everything on a critical
What about
list.
magnets?
We're focused on the critical raw materials, and we anticipate that led by our great manufacturers, will help breed even more solutions.
Great job. Thank you very much. Doug Burgum.
I apologize, guys. I have some technical difficulties here with my camera. That's why I had to get it off of there. Give me a second. See, I'm still trying to get it activated here real quick. You guys are probably wondering, what the hell is going on here? Sorry about that. Don't worry. We're going to fire the guy responsible for this madness. We got a weak team here and the Dennis Herrera show. All right. Let's see if I can get it reconnected here. Yeah, sorry about that. So I have the... it's probably not going to let me show it to you, but... Yeah, there we go. So I have a camera that I use, and it has like a power adapter, with a side battery or whatever. And I did hear what they said about the people that don't want to show up for the State of the Union. I think that's a damn shame myself. But I apologize, man. It's technical difficulties. I'm sorry about that. Let me see what I'm missing here on the chat. Nothing important. Okay. All right. Okay, Mike, if you want to call me back, and then hopefully you'll have those policies that we're looking for, then you can tell me all about it. Now, guys, we are running out of time. Not because I don't want to continue live, but because I got to go pick up the wifey. And then we are going to listen together to the State of the Union speech by our great POTUS, President Donald J. Trump. Thank you, Brian. Well, you guys are my brothers. You guys understand. You guys cut me some slack, but, I like to apologize to everybody. The expectations of the Dennis Herrera show are very high, and we don't want to disappoint our audience. Well, we won't have to look at their miserable faces anymore. Just for that, I should put them on just for that comment right there. Let's punish the libtards a little bit longer. Let me see. There was another video that I wanted to show you though, for real. I don't want to show BS. Where was it? Great. Now I don't have it. Let's see. All right. So let's go ahead and talk. Since I show you guys a video of. Oh, here we go. This is it. I had a video that I was going to share with you so that we can listen to it together.
We want to continue to get some insight as the president is just hours away.
Here we go. This is just a couple of just a few minutes. Knife, go ahead and tell us, what is the 25th Amendment? Because we don't know. We don't know what the 25th Amendment is. You go ahead and explain it to us. Tanya, I don't blame you. I don't blame you for falling asleep on those little speeches. But you know what? I still like to see my Republicans, talking to us. Hey, Robert Barrios is an ICE supporter. Good for you, my man. No one is above the law, for sure. ICE should also check my papers. I agree. Thank you for the support to our ICE agents who do a very dangerous job, and they do it willingly to keep America safe.
From that big primetime address, let's bring in our next guest to help break it all down. From Deseret News, Cami Mondo joins us here. Great to have you on once again, Cami. And this is a night that I think a lot of Americans are going to be watching for that big E word, and I'm talking the economy.
Yes, absolutely. You're going to hear a lot about what Trump considers probably his strongest policy strong suit. We're going to hear a lot about the big, beautiful bill that passed Congress last year. That's been their biggest legislative policy win that they really want to push forward. You're going to see them talk about how inflation rates have gone down over the last year. But really, the economy is what they're going to be touching on because, as you said, that's something that touches everybody, regardless who you are. And it's an issue that you don't need a lot of policy expertise to understand.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the one that always has people, okay, how is this really going to affect me and my family at the end of the night after all? But I think another big talking point is a lot of people are going to be listening in for Iran and what the Middle East could hold.
Right. We could get a clearer picture of what the president plans to do in terms of that. Over the last few weeks, he has been hinting at whether he may or may not take military action. Right now on Capitol Hill, we do have Secretary of State Marco Rubio and CIA Director John Ratcliffe briefing congressional leaders up this afternoon before the State of the Union starts. And so we're not really clear what information is being shared, what questions are being asked, but it does kind of signal that something is brewing. We could get a clearer idea of what Trump plans to do tonight.
And I mean, Cami, could we go as far as to even think that could President Trump even announce any military action tonight on the floor there of the Capitol?
I think when it comes to President Trump, it's kind of a never say never kind of situation. It's probably something that is unprecedented, but it is something that, wouldn't necessarily be unsurprising from him.
Yeah, so true. And let's also just talk about the different style that President Trump has when it comes to the State of the Union. If we remember back into the first term, I mean, he really uses this spotlight almost to have like sort of a mini rally, MAGA rally on the House floor there.
Right, and I think that is another thing we will be seeing tonight, especially heading into this midterm year where the House and Senate are so closely divided, and he really does want to keep that Republican majority that he has. So we do expect that it will be kind of campaign rally-esque. We did see that last year when he addressed Congress shortly after taking office. We're expecting it's going to be a longer speech. He did say that yesterday that he expects to be talking for a while. So we can expect it to be one of those Trump, signature rallies that we typically see.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see just how many hand clap breaks there are, maybe compared to the last couple of times that the president has done this here. Let's also talk about the guests for President Trump that will be in the attendance here. This is always an interesting part of how the administration is able to weave in different themes by bringing in different types of guests.
Absolutely. I think one of the bigger ones that we've seen just crop up over this weekend was the U.S. men's hockey team after winning gold in the Olympics. That was somebody that Trump kind of invited whim after they won. He kind of was on the phone with them in the locker room and invited. Speaker Johnson said they kind of had to scramble to make room for them, but we do expect some of them to be here tonight as Republican leaders are kind of wanting to really emphasize being an American, being really proud of the legacy that you have in this country. Another big guest we're expecting from the president is Erica Kirk, of course, the wife of the late Charlie Kirk, who died last year in Utah. So we're expecting her to be there as well, and Trump's going to be using that to highlight, denounce any political violence and rhetoric and things like that.
Yeah, it's an interesting timing for that because, it comes on the heels of this weekend where there was an incident at his Mar-a-Lago estate. Thankfully, he wasn't even there. But, this comes at a time where earlier this week he says, hey, people are gunning for me.
Absolutely. That's a good point that, we did see that this weekend, and some Republican lawmakers are saying, we need to continue to pray for the president's safety. We'd seen somebody on Capitol Hill just last week as well get arrested for holding a weapon close to the Capitol Hill. So security here is tight tonight. They're going to want to make sure that everything is put together. But, that is going to be definitely something that's going to be brought up, probably touched on several times. It's just the idea of really toning down political rhetoric and making sure that any kind of violence is, decried in all forms.
And I think another thing that people are going to be watching for is the reaction from Democrats, how they handle the ones that are showing up. I know some of them are refusing to go. But do you think, Cammie, there will be at least one moment during this State of the Union where there is a full standing ovation? Hopefully it'll be for the hockey players. But, besides that, will we see maybe a nice theme across the aisle here?
I think you are correct. The U.S. hockey team probably is the best chance for a full standing ovation. It really is kind of a toss-up on whether there is going to be an issue that is talked about. One thing that could happen is that today is, the anniversary of the war starting in Ukraine and with Russia. So maybe if there's something to that end of, really expressing support for our Ukrainian allies, Democrats are on board with that. So maybe there's a chance there. But for the most part, Democratic leaders are telling their members to kind of tone it down, try not to protest too much. We have seen in recent years, or even just last year, one Democratic representative was thrown out of the speech for disrupting. So they're really trying to be like, let's have silent defiance if anything else. But maybe we will see a few bipartisan things here or there.
Yeah, well, we will definitely all be watching. Cammie, always great to have you on here on Live Now from Fox, giving us a great preview for today.
Thank you from Live Fox. All right, let me see. How much time do we have? 2 p.m. I do want, I don't like the audio, but I do want to honor the Angel families. I don't know if you guys watched this already, but we're going to go ahead and watch it. Well, what do we got here? Did somebody else took over while I was gone? What is this? Let's see. No, it's still the hate speaker Sargon is still the chats, the stream bus chat. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and play it. I'm not very happy with the audio, but Hopefully it's not too soft for you guys. Let's see, and I'm not going to punish you guys. If you guys want to see this, the Angel family tribute here, go ahead and put a 1 on the chat. If I get 10 ones, we'll go ahead and play it. If not, you guys get to hear my goodbye music. 10 ones, 10 ones on the chat, and we'll go ahead and play the video that actually shows the executive order signing honoring the Angel families. I think it was great. You know, they did a name call or name roll. I think is what they call it, name calling roll of the victims who died by the hands of illegal immigrants. And you know, these people, they're Americans. You know, these are innocent people that should be protected, and this is why we stand against illegal immigration. You know, whether you think it's a human right or whatever, that is irrelevant. We have laws in this country, and it's for everybody to have order. It's for everybody to succeed. It's for everybody to have a free life. Fantastic. Yeah, I think we have enough. How many we have in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jason, how are you, Jason? Good to see you in here. Teddy, thank you for the vote. Tara, okay. We're going to go ahead and honor the families.
That's shocking. Please sit down. Thank you. We gathered here today for a truly solemn occasion. Throughout this hall, I am joined by heartbroken Americans who have lost parents, siblings, children, grandchildren, and treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration led in by the past administration. Millions and millions of people from jails, millions and millions of people from countries that we don't want to know about. Drug dealers, murderers, 11,888 murderers were allowed into our country by the Biden administration. These are the angel families that we love, that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored, and I've seen it. When I first got involved with the angel families, I had a meeting. It was so sad. And they got up and spoke, and the media literally just turned off the cameras. They didn't want to hear them. It was my first glimpse as to what was happening. These are sick people that cover stories like that, or that don't cover them, which is worse. Everyone in this room not only suffered an infinite loss, they were the victims of politicians who put the comfort of foreign criminals before the safety of American citizens and American patriots. Their stories were censored and suppressed like maybe almost never before, so that the politicians could open our borders and allow our nation to be invaded. If we didn't win the election, our nation would right now be destroyed. But under the Trump administration, their suffering is forgotten no longer. In just a few moments, I officially sign a proclamation that I've been waiting to sign for a long time, including my first administration. There were so many different legal roadblocks, it was incredible. We got it done, and I'm doing it today. February 22nd is going to be National Angel Family Day. Very important. So many incredible family members and friends, parents and children. On February 22nd, 2 years ago, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Lakin Hope Riley went out for a run on a college campus in Georgia. Lakin was viciously attacked, brutally beaten and murdered by an illegal alien gang member who the last administration heartlessly released into our country.
No problems. Let them in. They let in everybody. They didn't check anybody. They let in everybody. Among the first bills I signed into law after taking office last year was the Laken-Riley Act. So proud of it. To ensure illegal alien criminals are rapidly removed from the United States of America. If that's okay with the media. That bill has already been really playing a big role in the life of our country. It's resulted in over 21,000 illegal alien arrests. 21,000. We're joined this morning by Laken's parents, who I have gotten to know. These are incredible people. And I want to ask Laken's mother, Allison, to please come forward and say a few words, please.
Well, this is unexpected, but I think that a lot of people feel like that President Trump is maybe different than the version I've gotten to know. And I just can't thank you enough. You have said from the beginning, literally the day after this happened, that you would not forget about Laken. You weren't president at that time, and you have not forgotten. You have fought a fight that most people would not want to have to fight. Most people wouldn't. They would just say it's just easier not to do this. And President Trump you are doing a thankless job that most people just wouldn't do. And I just can't thank you enough. There are just not enough words to say. Because if you've lived the nightmare that we have lived, you understand the importance of the job that he's doing and securing our nation and fighting for our families. Because this could be any family. This happened to my family. This could be any one of your families. And Laken was the most responsible, hardworking, kind, selfless, beautiful Christian. And she wasn't somebody that put herself in bad positions. She didn't make bad choices. She was just a good girl. And she just wanted to go for a run that morning after she'd gotten up at 4 o'clock the morning before to decorate her roommate's door for her birthday. And she did everything for everyone else. She expected nothing in return. She just wanted to be a good friend and a good sister and a good daughter and a hardworking nurse. She was working so hard for. And I'm beyond blessed and thankful that you're honoring not just Laken, because she's one in a ton of people that have suffered at the hands of illegal immigrants. She's not the only one. And so thank you for honoring all of them, not just Laken. And we're just beyond grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Amazing, Allison. You have to go through this. Doesn't get that much easier, does it? Right? Even with time. It's been a while now, and it doesn't get that much easier. But I want to thank you for your incredible courage. We're all courageous in a sense. Everybody in this room is courageous. And we're willing to tell the story. And that I don't know why the news doesn't want to hear it. The Democrats don't want to hear it. The radical left, they don't want to hear it. What's not to hear? We want to stop murderers and criminals from coming into our country. I watched the mayor of Minneapolis. I watched these people saying,
We want to protect murderers? I don't get it. Something's sick. They're sick. Can't have a country like that. So we appreciate the bravery of everybody in this room, actually. And Christy, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Tom in particular for, we have a border that's 100% closed now. 100%. So Lincoln's story is even more tragic because her death was completely preventable. This shouldn't have happened. Guy should never have been here. Not only should her killer not have been released into our country in the first place, but he was released a second time after being arrested in New York City. Here today is a great gentleman, the police officer who arrested that illegal alien, only to watch him be set free to kill. I mean, he was arrested and they let him go free. They knew he was trouble, big trouble. Many of them are like that. They release him knowing it's going to kill again, but they released him and set him free to kill Lakin. So I'd like to have Ethan Herrera come up, please. He's a great, highly respected police officer, and you can explain what happened. Come on up. Thank you, Ethan.
Mr. President, it's an honor to be here today, and it's an honor to be speaking with you guys. My name is Ethan Herrera. I'm a police officer in Palm Beach County, Florida, and a former New York City police officer. While serving the New York City Police Department, I personally arrested Jose Ibarra for endangering the welfare of a child. A few months later, I saw his face again in the news after he viciously murdered Laken Riley. I did my job. I put him in custody. The system failed. No detainer, no accountability, no deportation, and an innocent American life was taken. If you enter our country illegally, there will be consequences under this administration. The American citizens must always come first. To Laken Riley's family, your loss should have never happened. We owe it to you and every American family to enforce our laws, secure our border, and protect innocent lives. Mr. President, thank you so much for having me here today, and thank you for all you've done for our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I notice you left New York to come to Florida. It's, in a way, it's too bad, right? You couldn't take it anymore. They don't let you do your job. But thank you very much, Ethan. It's great, highly respected person. I have to do a little checking before I introduce people, otherwise I get in trouble. Sometimes I introduce people and they say, sure, did you know this or that? But you checked out very, very well. Wow. Stories like Laken's are one more reason why my administration will do everything in our power to end the scourge of sanctuary cities once and for all. They protect criminals. Why do people find they protect criminals with a vengeance? They fight for these criminals like murderers. They're protecting murderers. They fight for them so hard. There's something wrong with them. We're joined today by so many angel families who are grieving a terrible loss. They've gone through hell. Steve Ronnebeck was the father of 21-year-old Grant Ronnebeck, a beautiful guy, who was shot and murdered by an illegal alien while he was working behind the counter of a convenience store in Arizona. He was working behind the counter. Steve, would you please come forward? We'll talk about your boy. Thank you.
You know, I spent some time with President Trump in his first election. President Trump talked about Grant even before he was elected in 2016. And finally, we had hope. We had hope that it was going to end. I was just talking to Secretary Noem that we also have during one of our visits to Washington. And again, the word preventable came up. All these deaths at the hands of illegal immigrants are preventable. They could have been stopped. We could have done so much more, unfortunately, at the hands of an election that we question. Somebody took their foot off the brakes, put their foot on the accelerator to let these people into our country. And it wasn't just regular people, it was criminals, it was murderers, killers, rapists. And now today, we are finally going to see that somebody's going to remember all of our loved ones. They're going to remember the names, and they're going to remember what we've all been through. Thank you, Mr. President.
And think of it, I'm not talking politics, I'm just talking life. In that election, it wasn't rigged, it was a rigged election by millions and millions of votes. A guy that never left his basement. It was all run by crooked people. COVID was a little bit of a shield. We had a lot of things going on. But it was rigged by millions of votes. We did great in that election. If that election wasn't rigged, every single one of the people in this room right now would not be here. You'd be home with your son, daughter, family. We had a strong border. You know, we solved it twice, Tom. We solved it in 2016. The border was bad. Nothing like it was this time. It was like beautiful compared to this time. This was legendary. In the history of the world, there's never been a border like this when millions of people poured in. At least 25 million people. And many of them were the wrong people. Many. You know, when countries fill up the caravans, they don't fill them up with their finest. I wouldn't. And I would do exactly what they did if the United States would be willing to take all of our criminals and people, or people that don't work. But they are smart people. I got to know most of those leaders. I know them. I said, what are you doing? They said, look, it was a totally open border. They saved hundreds of millions of dollars. And they gave it to us, and we've done a great job. Tom Holman, Christine Holm, our people have been incredible, the job they've done. And they take nothing but abuse, but you know, they're sort of pretty hardened to that, I think, because they know they're doing the right thing. It just amazes me that there's not more support out there. It's just, we actually have a silent support. I think it's silent. I think well, that's how I won. I got probably 85 million votes. They say 78 million, 79 million. They cheated in this election too. It was just too big to rig. Too big to rig. But they cheated like hell. They can't win on policy. Men and women's sports. We have a new one though. Voter ID. I think that's as crazy as they won't approve voter ID. They won't approve proof of citizenship. They won't approve no mail-in ballots, even though they know it's crooked as hell. Where the ballots are sent to, in many cases, Democrats. Republicans don't get theirs, and they're calling frantically to get their ballot. A Democrat will get 3, 4, 5, 6, and even 7 ballots. And then we're supposed to win. That's what they're good at. They're professional cheaters. But we wouldn't be here right now. I'm just thinking as we're going through it, because we've suffered through it together. I suffer for the country. I mean, it's the people I've gotten to know, the mothers and fathers, mostly mothers and fathers. Husbands in some cases, wives in some cases, but mostly mothers and fathers, what they have to go through. Also with us is Marie Vega, the mother of Javier Vega Jr., the retired U.S. Marine and Border Patrol agent, so respected, who was murdered in front of his family by 2 illegal aliens, bad ones, really bad ones. People you could look at them and you could say, trouble. Trying to steal his family's trucks. He wanted to take everything the family had, but the trucks in particular. Marie, please come forward. Thank you, Don.
President Trump, on behalf of my family and I, thank you for hosting this beautiful remembrance in honor of our loved ones who were killed by illegal aliens. As you said, August the 3rd, 2014, my husband Javier, my son, Marine and Border Patrol Agent Javier Harvey Vega, his wife, 2 of his sons and a friend, and I were fishing in Santa Monica, Texas. Within minutes of settling in, we were ambushed by 2 illegal aliens with many priors. Without warning, they jumped out of their stolen vehicle with guns that were not supposed to be in their possession in an attempt to steal 2 4-wheel drive vehicles. While trying to defend us, Harvey was shot in the chest and killed. My husband, Javier Sr., was shot in the back. Remember, you all, children were there fishing with their friends, and they just kept shooting. You could hear the bullets just whizzing past you. Javier Sr. returned fire with this weapon, and I grabbed the AR that Harvey had attempted to defend us with, and I returned fire as well. Had we not fired back, they would have killed everyone there, including the children, so that there wouldn't be any witnesses. And they killed an amazing man, a loving and honorable dad and husband. Thank God we have you in office. Without you, America and the world would not know the consequences of open borders. Thank you for restoring law and order. Thank you for acknowledging us, the angel families. Every day I think of you and the heavy weight of a nation that you carry with you. I can't imagine what it must be like to wake up every morning, work so diligently amid attacks and resistance from the left, to deal with the craziness, the fraud, and the swamp. But you get it done day in and day out, all while finding solutions to making America great again. You absolutely amaze me. Please know that we see it, and we, the masses, your constituents, are behind you 100%. When you were elected the first time, for the first term as president, I remember saying to my boss, this is exactly what this country needed, a businessman. You did an outstanding job then, and although you were cheated out of the second term, by the way, you won that election as well, and we know it. I knew the third term was going to be epic, and here we are, mega. Before I end this, I have to share a sweet story with you about my daddy. He absolutely hated the way people treated you and attacked you. On your third run for office, he said to me, "Mijita," which means my little daughter in Spanish, "Can you check to see if I'm up to date and still registered to vote? We need to make sure President Trump gets into office." I said, "Of course, Daddy." And I did, and I checked, and he was registered to vote. We lost a great man, April the 3rd of 2025, and that would be my daddy. Again, thank you for everything. Thank you for backing Border Patrol and ICE, and backing these families. Thank you so much.
Beautiful. You know, I was thinking as you were saying that running again for a third time after having gone through what we went through the second time, which was so horrible. So much cheating, so much deception and viciousness, and you could see what they were going to do. And I'm here now, and it's a much more powerful term than my second term would be. And much more powerful. And one of the reasons is everybody sees how bad they were. And I had to go through, and I still do, fake stories, fake polls. I had polls for the election that showed I was going to get swamped, and I won in a landslide. They were fake polls because polls are tough. You know, when you get a fake poll, I get them today. I saw one today that I'm at 40%. 40%. I'm not at 40%. I'm at much higher than that. I mean, I'd love to run against anybody. The real polls say you kill everybody. It wouldn't even be close. But you go through the fake polls, you go through the fake stories. And I said, you know, it was good because this is really a much more powerful term than I would have had if I had run, because it was just one of those things. There would be nothing to compare it to. And now they compare it to Biden and that horrible, horrible administration. And I mean it, it is more powerful. Our military is much more powerful. We rebuilt it mostly in the first term. Then they gave away a chunk of it. And as much as it was, it's very small relatively, Tom. But we gave it to the Taliban. Just walked out. We could have taken it with us. They said, oh, I think it's cheaper to leave the planes. Just put a little jet fuel and fly it to a neighbor or fly it right home. Sir, I think it's cheaper. I think we'll save money by leaving a $150 million jet on the runway. These people are crazy. But I said, and I've said to a lot of people, it's much better what happened. But not for you people, it's not. And then I go back and say, but I wish it didn't, because every one of your loved ones would be alive today. Everyone in this room, I think. Maybe there's one where it could have sneaked through during our term, but I don't think so. We had a very tough border. We had, we solved it in 2016, and we had a very strong border. I would say nothing is as strong as what we have now, but we had a very strong border. We had a good border. We had a sane border. It was sane. And I say, I like this much better. Much more respect. You read about all these crazy shooters, but they only go after consequential presidents. They don't go after non-consequential presidents, If you take a look, Abraham Lincoln, some big one. John Kennedy, in a certain way, was very consequential. He represented something very important. He was there for 1,000 days, as you know, the book, 1,000 days, but he was consequential. There was a glamour, there was something good for our country, right? But they're consequential, and I was told that. I saw that the other day. They said they only go after consequential. So maybe I want to be a little bit less consequential. Can we hold it back a little bit, please, Tom? Can we just, nice and easy? Let's be a normal president for a little while. Because we had the greatest first term, I think, of any president in history. A lot of people have said that. Even radical left people have said that. And so it's, but the one problem is that, and every time I say it, I go back to the one thing. I said, but we wouldn't have had 25 million people allowed to come into our country, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. And those are the people that destroyed your lives. They destroyed your lives. They wouldn't be there. So I always say, I like it better, but there's one thing I don't like better, and that's what they did. Because I think that's the single biggest problem. He gave us inflation, highest inflation we've ever had. I solved that. Right now, inflation's at a very low number. How about gasoline? I was in Iowa, $1.85 a gallon. I solved that. I did a great job with that. Prices are coming way down, and I'll get them down further. But, Christ, no matter. By the way, if I came up with a cure for cancer, they would say, he should have done it years ago. There's not a thing I can do where these people are going to give me credit, and that's okay, because we won in a landslide, so the people understand. The people understand. But the one thing that I regret about the election and the process, because it's a much bigger, more important, you look at what we're doing throughout the world, we're respected like we've never been before. But the one thing that I can't do anything about is that he allowed 25 million people, many of these murderers, drug lords, criminals, people from mental institutions. They emptied their mental institutions, Tom, is that right? All over the world, not just in South America. They emptied their jails, many of them from all over the world. Why? Why would we do this? And they walk in, nobody even asked for, do you have an identification? Do you have an ID? It's so crazy. The mayor of New York, and he's a very nice person. I met him, but his ideology is not too good. But we're having a massive snowstorm right now, and I heard that he's asked people to come out and help shovel the snow. Okay, so you get a shovel and you start shoveling, right? What the hell, you're not gonna help too much, but you can help. And hello, darling, how are you? Noah, right behind you, look. My friend, right? Are you okay? Yes, you. Are you okay? Are you okay?
I'm doing very well. I just
Good.
want to give you a hug when this is all
Good, are your eyes okay?
Wednesday. They
I gave her money to get her eyes fixed. A lot of money to get her eyes fixed. That doctor ripped me off, but that's okay. And when do you go?
Wednesday I go for surgery. It was postponed because they said the grief caused me to have 2 heart attacks.
Well, you get them done. It's an operation, but it's 100%. You know, it's great.
It's Wednesday.
Good. You're gonna have 20/20 vision. She's almost blind, cataracts. She's almost blind, and with one operation that will take a very short period of time. Hope you have a good doctor.
I also
He's an expensive doctor, top of the line, right? But you know what? You're gonna have 20/20 vision. Because I noticed you're wearing glasses. I saw you yesterday on television wearing glasses, and I said, well, but anyway. But, you know, speaking of your family, it would be a lot different right now, except for the election. So I always say, it's too bad that happened. And if I had it to do again, it's despite the tremendous job we're doing now, I wish it could have been the other way, because we wouldn't even be having this meeting right now. There'd be nobody. I wouldn't have gotten to know you. But it's gotten to know you under very bad circumstances, right? The worst circumstances. So, one of those things. But the thing I can't understand is why the press isn't more supportive. They're so dishonest. The stories, the polls, they poll you, they say, oh, the angel moms. I think the angel moms are the finest people I've met. I mean, the angel moms and families and dads. But these are unbelievable people. Why are they so angry with angel moms? They had their child killed. Stories that are so horrible, I'm not going to mention. A couple of people are in the room. What they did with the child after they murdered the child. It's not even, and these people are actually on the side of the criminal. I don't get it, Tom. Someday, you're going to explain it to me. But I don't think you can either. It's crazy. Laura Wilkerson is another American mom whose 18-year-old son, Joshua was horribly beaten, tortured, and murdered by an illegal alien who went totally crazy and just went to school. And I'd like to ask Laura to come up and say a few words about Joshua. Please. Hi. One of my original friends.
Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Laura Wilkerson, and I want to thank everybody for their help in gathering us here, the American Border Story and the White House, and all of your helpers. I thank you for that. I met a man about 11 years ago who was running for office, and he sat with us a couple of days, and he watched as the tears rolled down my face as I told him the story of how our youngest son Joshua was brutally beaten, tortured, strangled to death, and his body set on fire. The man next to me was President Trump. He never ever looked away from my pain. He looked me straight in the eye and he said, I will never forget the story of your sweet son, and I will never give up fighting for the American family. I looked at him and I believed him. And here we are these years later, and you can tell all of the work he's done. He's never missed a day of fighting for the American family. I don't know if I've ever met a man who is more interested in this country and running his country and getting it back in shape. And I'm so grateful for what he does every single day. I can't even pretend to understand the spiritual battles that swirl around the office of the presidency and the man who owns that office. I would ask that God breathe a fresh breath of air through this administration so that He's been calling that those spiritual battles and allow our president to continue to do the hard work. Jesus works on my family every day, still healing us today. And I am just so incredibly grateful for the man who's in office, who never quits. He is sidelined so many times, but we know the man, Jesus, who can take care of that. And we pray today in his name that he will sweep through this country and make it right again. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I just want to thank you. That's amazing. The words are so beautiful, so beautiful. I get introduced often, and I'm getting introduced by people. In many cases, they hate me. And they don't give me nice introductions like that. But all we're doing is the right thing. It's sort of simple, right? It's sort of simple, and but not simple for you. And that's when I was running, actually. That was before I won. I didn't know if I was going to win or not. I was running against 17 politicians. You knew. I knew. That's nice. But no, I never forgot that. Jody Jones is a loving brother who's cherished. Sibling Rocky was killed by an illegal alien monster, real monster, who went on a deranged crime spree after being released from prison as part of a California sanctuary city policy. Jody, please come up. Thank you.
Well, I have this speech, but I'm not going to give it. What I'm going to tell you is from my heart. I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, first of all, before I do anything. I want to thank the American Border Story, and I absolutely want to thank President Donald J. Trump. Thank you, sir, for putting America first, and putting these angel families first, and letting everybody know their stories, because we matter. Thank you, sir. My brother Rocky Jones was murdered by a criminal illegal alien. He was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. This man was arrested, released, and within 24 hours, he went on a shooting spree in Central California. Unfortunately, my brother was in the wrong place at the wrong time. This man shot my brother 8 times at point-blank range. I pray that no other family has to go through that. Unfortunately, they will. And just know, President Trump, I want you to know, no matter what the fake media says about you, the American people love you, and we will support you all the time, because we love you. I'm sick and tired of hearing these Democratic politicians stand up on these podiums and say how sorry they are for seeing these criminal illegal aliens being ripped apart from their families. What about us? What about the American family? What about us? We mean something too. And this man right here understands it. I was listening to Grandma Cook, and she said thank you to President Trump. And I love that lady. I don't even know her. I just heard her. I just got the fire inside of me. I'm like, wow, that's an American. I love America. I want you guys to understand this. Americans are not racist. We're not xenophobic because we want a safe America and we want to put Americans first. This man's not racist because he wants to put Americans first. Are you kidding me? I know you guys hear it all the time, but we are not. And I'm going to tell you something. I love America. I love Donald Trump. I love my family. And by gosh, I love America. Thank you very much, Donald Trump. President Trump, you are the man. I want to say this. I'm going to end here. I want to say this. I love my country. God bless you. God bless Donald Trump. And God bless America.
Thank you very much. It's incredible. I want to now introduce somebody that I get to know pretty well. We just had a little discussion. Wonderful mothers, Patty Moran, who lost her beautiful daughter Rachel, and Tammy Nobles, who lost her daughter Kayla. Your daughters would be unbelievably proud, and they are as they look down. I'm sure they're looking down. And they'd be very proud of you, and they're thanking you right now for your courage. You've gone through a lot, I know you. And I just have to recognize some of the families. I mean, the families that are here this morning, I know many of them, not all of them. And you know, it grows at a pretty strong level, nothing like it was in the past. You remember when, during the campaign, Biden would say, and then I guess Kamala, it's the same thing. Same ideology, same level of intelligence, I think. But she would say, and he would say, no, it's wonderful to have the people come into our country. These are fine people, these are nice people, and they don't commit crime. And I called Tom home and I said, what's the story on that? Because I think they're really violent. And Tom would say, these are the most violent people in the world. They're coming in. These make our, I remember you said, these make our criminals look like choir boys. And you know what? You were right. You were right. But I want to thank those two people because what they went through. And I want to recognize all of the families here this morning who have lost loved ones, a lot of families. Thousands are not here, and they're feeling just the way you do. Sad. And continue to fight. You know, they say time helps, but I've seen some people and the time isn't really not helping that much. Time, they say, it heals all wounds, but it's not. Do you feel better now or the same? You got to feel a little bit better. You got to let it, but it's not like the phrase, wonderful phrase, time heals, like everything's good. Excuse me?
We feel good that you're here.
Yeah, I know. We'll continue to fight though, and we'll stop this horrible situation, and we have stopped a lot of it. A big thing, you know, you saw that murders are down for the most in 125 years. That's before my father was born in 1905. 5 years before my father was born. My father was great. But, so in 1900, 125 years, the murders, the lowest rate. You know why? Because I closed the borders, and we got a lot of people out. It's not just closing, we got a lot of people out. Washington, D.C. is now a safe. So, we don't want to close the borders for them. We got a lot of them out, and we got many of the worst ones out. Go for them first. But I want to conclude by reading part of a letter I received earlier this year from two heartbroken grandparents who will never again see their 8-year-old granddaughter after an illegal alien ran her over with his truck purposely. They wrote to me, we are hurting so badly, and now know that the hurting in our family will never go away. It never, ever will go away. We're not seeking notoriety. We don't care about press coverage, but we do want our girl to be remembered. We want people to actually know how preventable this murder was. And lastly, we want the American government to be accountable to its citizens. True, they should be accountable for what they did. That's my administration, and I will tell you, fighting, and we're fighting so hard. All of them, everybody together is fighting. We're putting American citizens first. We're defending American lives. And we're fighting for every angel family. Angel families are beautiful families. And beautiful families. That was my first, early on when we first met, that was my first, I didn't know about angel families, you know. I never did this before, right? I was building buildings and things. But I said, I can't believe it. My first meeting, they were so angry at the press, at a mom who lost her daughter so violently. Right? You might have been there. The first meeting, I said, this is strange. What's going on? It was anger from the fake news. But the angel families, I realized very early on, I never changed. I could see how you changed them. You know, you have to go through this stuff. But Never changed. I thought they were among the greatest people I've ever met. I've met the heads of countries. A lot of them aren't so nice, but you know, they do have some power. And we've done very well with all of those people. But among the finest people I've ever met are the people in this room and many people outside of this room. I know many, many more than just in the room. But we restored our border, and it's now totally secure, and our country is at the safest level it's been in many, many years. How could anyone possibly say we want open borders? Knowing, especially, let's say you did that because you're foolish or stupid or something. And you did it, but after a couple of weeks, you're going to know that the people coming here, if you're running a country, you want to send your bad people out. That was the way I looked at it. I didn't know anything about it. I ran for office, but I have a lot of sense. And I said, well, open borders no good because if I'm running the country nearby or far away, I had no idea how far away. They came from the Congo in Africa. They came from all over, not just South America. Congo let vast numbers, hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of people out of jail. They brought them through Mexico and they dropped them into our country. But you would say that common sense, well, and I said it right from almost the first day. I said, how can you have an open border? All the countries are going to be dropping their prisoners into us. That's exactly what happened. And mental patients and others. So we have a country that's now doing well. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. We have the most activity we've ever had. I'm making a speech tomorrow night, and you'll be hearing me say that. I mean, it's going to be a long speech because we have so much to talk about. But Americans like Lakin and Grant and Javier, Joshua, Rocky, Rachel, Kayla, these are great people, and we're never going to forget them. I'll never forget them. I don't know how long I'll be around. Got a lot of people gunning for me, don't I? But I will not forget them. I'm never going to forget them. And I just think you're among the most brave people. I meet a lot of brave people. I meet warriors. They give out congressional medals of honor. People recommend, like these two in front of me are so wonderful, but they recommend, and I meet the greatest people. But this is a group of people that, for whatever reason, I just feel maybe the warmest about. So at least you have one friend, and we don't understand why you don't have many, and maybe you will. I don't know. So I'm going to go sign the proclamation, and then we're going to sit in the audience. I'm going to sit with you for the reading of the victims' names, and I'll then depart to a song sung by our incredible, talented military, Amazing Grace. Okay? Sound good? Now we can have some of the families come up, some of the people come up. You know who you are. Come on, you can stand around. I don't use an auto pen, so you can watch me actually sign. We'll do this the right way. Do you have, I want to give coins to the family, okay? Could I?
have one for you, and I couldn't bring anything inside.
They no, Secret Service. Well, you'll get it from me.
Say hi to Trump.
Hi, hi, sweetie.
My name is Emma.
Oh, hi, Emma.
Carol.
Very good, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready, Emma? We're going to sign this, okay? Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one, yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You take care of yourself. You can hold that. At least for a little while before.
I'm not taking it.
Thank you. So let's do this candle lighting, and it's very beautiful. Please.
I can't tell you.
now light a candle in honor of the victims and in solidarity with their families. Following the lighting of the candle, the names of the victims will be read aloud so that their memory may be honored.
Katie Abraham, Chad Eistrup, Austin Babcock, Megan Elizabeth Ida Boz, Jesse Bird, Liam Cantu, Michael Clayton, Gail Clayton, Sander Cohen, Piers Corcoran, Ronald De Silva, Jackson Davis, Christopher James De Leon, Joseph Di Tomaso, Marshall Dova, Brady English, Shaylee Estes, Lacey Marie Ferguson, Maura Garrity, Tristan Gray, Kayla Hamilton, Aaron Joshua Hampton, Brady Hyling, Susan Hine, Haley Helgeson, Kyler Holbein, Gregory Hamala, Gabriel Kaleshi Isiguzo Jr., Rocky Paul Jones, Shane Jones, Stephanie Kaufman, Haley King, Amy Courtlang, Ryan White, Brian Moss, Robert Mohin, Lisbeth Medina, Brandon Mendoza, Brandon Michael, Dominic Montoya, Jonathan Moody Jr., Ruben Morfin, Rachel Morin, Krisha Odette, Nikolay Osokin, Rocco Pitro, Lakin Riley, Grant Ronnebeck, Matthew Russell, Kayla Santiago, Danielle Nikki Shermock, Fred Schlosser, Tiara Stansberry, Kate Steinley, Joseph Story, Timmy Tarnowski, Brian Terry, Anya Varfolomeev, Javier Vega Jr., Joshua Aaron Wilkerson, Carlos Wolf, Joseph Zhang Jr.
Was lost.
so much cheating, so much deception and viciousness, and you could see what they were going to do. And I'm here now, and it's a much more
That is just the way they broadcast it. Guys, thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for the super chats this morning. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you all of you who become members to my channel. I appreciate you. This is what I do for a living. So anything that you guys give me, I appreciate. I can only do this because of supporters like you. With that being said, I will see you guys later today. If you want to join me, you're welcome to watch anywhere else. But we are going to listen to the POTUS address the nation. Let's go, President Trump. God bless you. God bless your families. And God bless the USA. Have a good one. I'll see you in a bit.